in 9, 8, 7. We're live now.
Oh, yeah, we're live.
Bum, 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 bum.
Can you do me a favor?
Well, yeah.
Can you make the sound of an asteroid passing by? Dog Space Nine. Wait, I sang the wrong song.
Also, what I should have done is what I've done. Can you make that sound of an asteroid?
Oh yeah, there's no sound in space. God damn it. Wait, do it again. Do it again. Dog Space Nine. Dog Space Nine. Dog Space Nine. Dog Space Nine. Dog Space Nine.
In space.
Dog Space Nine. Dog Space. You're not singing with me. You're just laughing at me instead of singing with me.
So good.
Hello, we're here. What's up, people? How's it going? What's up, Corey? What's up, Slazinski? Amanda, welcome everybody. It is wonderful to see you.
We wrote an intro song. We practiced it every day for a week straight, and Jesse still missed like all of his marks.
I am incensed. Wait. Hold on. Something very important.
Okay.
Ready? Ready? Hello. I am Commander Benjamin Sisko. Doug, your singing was inadequate in that opening segment. And I am very upset with you. Look, I knew you'd be jealous, so I brought this for you.
Oh, I got a Picard!
What do you have to say for yourself, young officer?
Sorry about your wife. But you have no authority to judge the singing of Ensign Gale under my command. I instructed him on singing. And I know that he can hit his marks without fail. Well,
I didn't want to be in charge of singing, and maybe I will resign my commission because I missed the Utopia Planitia shipyards.
Resign your commission? Benjamin, we've been down this road several times. I don't think a day has gone by since you've taken command.
You don't call me Benjamin. My wife called me Benjamin, and you killed her. I'm the emissary of the prophets, and you are my bitch. Okay, that's the alternate original script for the emissary.
This is the Mirror Universe. It's a preview of Deep Space Nine's deep dive into the Mirror Universe.
It's a second Mirror Universe in which Benjamin Sisko makes everyone his bitch. Wait, he was holding something. Oh, cool. It's still in my pocket. Look, I have a little tricorder.
Oh, that's cute. You don't need a tricorder.
Look at this tricorder. It's so tiny. He's not gonna
boxes.
He's not gonna hold the orb of the prophets.
Oh, he will. He's Picard.
Oh my God, it's gonna work. Wow.
No.
Nope, it's not gonna work. These Star Trek action figures are so interesting because, like,
my orb.
Because they have like you can like rotate their arms all the way around. Like this isn't right. This isn't right. I shouldn't be able to do this. But you can like rotate their arms and bend their arms.
Jesse, I have a way to increase our viewership.
What?
This is now a Star Trek action figure ASMR video. Yes.
Wait.
You're a good ensign.
Wait, the microphone's right here.
Yes, you are a good ensign. I am so glad to have had you on my ship. Have you ever read the Dix novels? No, that's not a entendre. That's the favorite holodeck program of your Captain Picard.
I'm just like rotating his torso back and forth, and it makes a really nice clicking noise.
What was the detective? Dixon
Hill.
Dixon Hill! Damn it! That's what I wanted.
Oh, I thought you meant Detective Dix on purpose. You're ready? You watched the video of Brent Spiner impersonating Patrick? Oh my God, yeah, I've seen that before. Well, he's done that a lot at conventions. He's got a very good Patrick Stewart impersonation. Good to see you, Corey. Welcome, dude. All right, you guys, welcome to Dog Space Nine. This week we are talking about how Star Trek action figures work.
It was a mistake to give me these.
But yeah, I was gonna say, like, they have all this motion in the limbs. Like, I can, like...
They're fully articulated.
Fully articulated, thank you. He can do this. And then this, which is wrong.
Ow, ow.
Right. It's like, what am I, a changeling? You cannot stop doing this to my arms. This is not good. But, like, Star Wars action figures don't do that. And I, like, collected Star Wars action figures as a kid. I had a few of these, a few of the Star Trek ones, but I always felt like their arms worked so strangely that it kind of bothered me. Why does he look strangely familiar? Are you talking about this guy? Or are you talking about this guy? Because he's here, like, every time. What's up, Ugly Stewie? Dude, Doug, check this out. For my channel members now, they have badges based off how long they've been here. So you get Jordy if you've been here for, I think, 3 months, 2 months.
All right, so all these fresh young meat with the wrenches.
That's the moderators.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
The
Our
green
wonderful helpers with their tools of justice.
the tools of justice. The green is the channel members.
Okay.
My guest looks strangely familiar. Yeah, well, that makes sense. By my guest, you mean Captain Benjamin Sisko, who's now doing yoga of some kind. Let's see. Let's do cat cow. No, let's stop. This is weird.
Okay.
This got weird.
The Nagus.
The Nagus. Okay, we're talking about 2 episodes today. We're talking about the Nagus and Vortex. I'm like, what's the other one?
The Nagus is when Deep Space Nine decides to take a hard turn and go, but what if we were also a lighthearted comedy?
What if we were a comedy? Totally.
What if we were comedy?
Wallace Shawn as Grand Nagus Zek.
Yeah.
What do you think of this episode?
Boy, I love me some Wallace Shawn. I love this episode, even though it is, objectively speaking, a really terrible episode.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
This
This
episode
what you're
has
talking about.
TNG. Its early first season, its worst episodes were ones that were so much like the original series, where in tone or in spirit it hadn't found itself.
That like weird wah 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 humor, you know.
And this episode is like the worst of TNG season 1 while it was trying to find itself and was still doing strangely toned episodes back to back with serious episodes.
Wow.
Like the conspiracy, and then the one after that is like
we only had Paris.
The space
we always
cowboy.
Had Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no! Wait, no. That was after the Armis episode. After Conspiracy. No, you're right. Space Cowboy. The Neutral Zone. The season finale.
Right, and the dude with his guitar. Hey, Data.
Yeah.
My little robot friend. We go on the road tour with guitars.
I loved this episode. The Nagus. I thought it was fantastic. I was like, this is good TV. Like on every level. Like, oh, they're doing a comedy now, and they're really pulling it off. And
I like the comedy.
It's funny. Wallace Shawn is great.
Wallace Shawn is great.
They're giving Quark a lot more to do. They're really distinguishing themselves from TNG by saying, like, we do this tone also.
Right.
And this tone stays. Like, this tone sticks around for the rest of the show.
Right.
Like, we have these episodes with the Ferengi and with the Nagus and with bumbling brain injury Rom, and this was like the transition, right? This is when Rom's character like switches on.
It's when you first start to see him.
I think that he started smoking weed. I think that this is not brain injury. I think that this is drugs.
Well, what they do show, I noticed in this
tube
one,
grubs. He's on the tube grubs.
No, it's the beetle snuff.
Beetle snuff, yes.
He's been dipping into the
Rom
snuff.
discovers his Quark's stash of beetle snuff, and that's why he's weird from now on. He was all like authoritarian and strict before.
Mm-hmm. And they show, I didn't realize it, but they show hints of him doing it to other people. Like he's that way to his son, and then when he's complaining about the Federation. But it's weird. It still doesn't fit with his characterization, you know. I like him as the doof.
Yeah, it is interesting that he is finally the doof, but he's also like a fucking cold-blooded killer. Yes. Like he's trying to kill his brother, and then the very next episode he's all excited about the idea of Odo dying.
Yeah.
Like he has no regard for the sanctity of life whatsoever.
I'm telling you.
It's the beetle snuff, man.
It is. Rom is going through some weird shit right now. So when he's acting that way is when he's all hopped up on beetle snuff. Yeah. So what we're eventually going to see is Rom free of the grip of beetle snuff mania.
Yeah, because he finds love eventually.
That's true.
And then he balances out a little bit.
And he finds his place in the universe. He finds a job.
Oh, Amanda says Julian finally notices how annoying someone finds him. Oh no, wrong episode. Yeah, because that episode doesn't exist. The episode where Julian...
I was just thinking, like, I watched it again right now, and I feel like there wasn't any Julian in this one.
Yeah, there was mercifully small amounts of Julian.
There was no one else. This is one of those, like, people talk about it like the Ferengi episodes.
Right.
You know? It made me want to do a binge watch of just the Ferengi episodes.
That would be awful.
Deep Space Ferengi.
Like, I do like the Ferengi episodes, but I feel like I like them because I see them, like, once a season. Mm-hmm. If I saw more than that, I'd be furious. Although the one where they accidentally go back in time is fucking fantastic. Funny, it's so good. He notices O'Brien finds him annoying soon. Oh, okay. Okay, we'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
So I really like this episode. I love that they start to kind of flesh out the Ferengi a little bit.
Yes.
Because I think that, like, actually works pretty well for them.
Yeah.
You know, like, the whole idea of the Ferengi being this laughable foil for the Federation for years, it finally is addressed in this episode. Like,
right.
Well, yeah, Jake kind of confronts Ben about this. He's like, you want us to, like, build relationships with everyone in the galaxy. What's wrong with me being friends with a Ferengi? And he's like, well, Ferengi are annoying, you know? Like, the Ferengi are obnoxious and not to be trusted. And Sisko, like, is pointed out to... I mean, it is pointed out to Sisko by his son that he is kind of, like, racist against the Ferengi.
100%, right.
The Federation kind of is, in general.
Yes.
Just as a whole.
Yes.
And then it's so interesting to see a deep dive into their culture in this episode, because they are just like Americans.
Yeah.
They're just like greedy Americans.
Yeah.
People...
It's capitalism. It's
capitalism, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, people always try to make the... I hear the complaint a lot. And I'm Jewish, so we're going into this knowing that I'm Jewish. But I hear the complaint a lot that, like, people complain that the Ferengi seem to be like a
broad Jewish character.
Exactly, like a Jewish stereotype.
Yeah.
Which I never agreed with. Like, I never saw that. I never really got that from them. Like, I heard that, and I'm like, are they like that? I don't know. But then I watched the show, I'm like, no, they're just greedy Americans. You know, they're just like greedy capitalists.
Right. The thing is that because there's an existing stereotype about Jewish people, then if you try to do a hyper mocking of capitalism obsessed with money, you come up against this existing stereotype.
Against Jews.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's just... If you were going to do it as a way of, you know, I want to lean into the Jewish stereotype, you would do it in a different way. You wouldn't do it in this way.
Exactly, yeah. So I totally agree with that. And I do think that I kind of take issue with people saying that it seems Jewish because that is sort of like playing into the stereotype that Jews are greedy, which is like a weird stereotype.
Right.
And I actually was like listening to something recently that talked about where that came from, and it was like Jews being underprivileged in America, and like, you know, like my family is an immigrant family, like several generations back, where we came across on like the Ellis Island thing where my family name is not, you know, I don't reveal.
Not Mercury.
No, it's not Mercury. I don't reveal my actual last name on stream anymore because it got dangerous at one point.
They changed our name to Mercury.
My actual last name, like as a person, we don't know if that is my real last name. We don't know if that came across correctly. I don't know if it was Ellis Island, but whenever like my family came off the boat somewhere, generations ago from Russia.
you come from a family of Mercury merchants in the old country.
My great grandfather
was it Mercury merchants?
Like what was, I don't know, let's say
apothecary.
Mordecai became
Morton
Mercury. Mortimer Mercury.
Ooh, your distant relatives are aliens, or one is, and then just where are you from? Mercury, and they're like, okay.
Yeah, totally. There you go. But anyway, so these people that like came to America and had almost nothing were fleeing, you know, religious persecution and like fleeing the Holocaust.
Right.
Coming to America and not having much and not being able to spend money on anything because they didn't have enough to spend it on, gained a reputation for being extremely frugal, and it was out of necessity. But there was this distrust of Americans not trusting anyone who was different, and then that frugality ended up turning into success because of the American dream that doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And then those people became wealthy, and then the Americans were like suspicious and jealous of that, and then it turned into this stereotype.
Yep.
I don't know how much of that is an accurate reading of the actual situation, but I heard that the other day and thought it was fascinating and made a lot of sense to me. So the whole idea that Ferengi are supposed to be Jews, like never sat well with
Space
me.
Jews.
It almost feels like racist against Jews or stereotypical against Jews to think that. And like as a Jew, it never occurred to me.
Right.
And I get it why people say it because of the stereotype, but I would never fault the show for it. I don't think that it's in the show.
Because if they were going to do it, then they would make it be that the Ferengi also secretly had power over the Federation or over something. You know, they would put them in the status of power.
They would just have them run space Hollywood, you know?
That'd be another angle, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
There would be a lot of like Baruch Atah Adonai Melachenu Melech Ferengi. You know, there'd be a lot of that. There'd be like some of the religious elements.
Absolutely,
because,
yeah. The Bajorans is a better argument that like
absolutely.
this is supposed to be
the
Jewish
Bajorans are an intentional.
Right.
They are an intentional trying to be Israeli. Like I've read this before from the producers.
Like, well, because the Cardassians are the Nazis.
The Bajorans are supposed to be Jewish.
Right.
The Bajorans are the space Jews. They are the story of the people that have, you know, been persecuted who now have like a land of their own to reclaim.
That
like
someone
that
wants
is
back.
Yeah, that is the story of the Bajorans. On purpose, they're supposed to be like Israelis when Israel became, you know, a state of its own. Like,
right.
That is intentional.
And Cardassians is the space Nazis.
And Cardassians are the space Nazis.
Right.
Absolutely. Gul Dukat is he's not really like a Hitlery.
No, he's like an
though.
efficient. You know, he's like what was the one, Schindler's List, where there's somebody who works for the place, but Gul Dukat is the evil version of that. Like, he's the guy that, like, did not get a hero's movie about him.
Like, Gul Dukat runs a concentration camp.
Yeah.
Like, Deep Space Nine, for all intents and purposes, before it was Deep Space Nine, when it was Empok Nor, was a concentration camp.
Yeah, and they do, to their credit, they do a good job of getting into all of that kind of stuff.
They do. They do a really good episode about that.
But yeah, the people that see the Ferengi and say, "Oh, this is like a Jewish stereotype," or I can see if you're questioning it. If you believe it, then I think that's a willful misreading of the situation.
I agree.
Especially when there's an obvious, explicit parallel to Jewish people. You're just picking a shitty one, going, "Yeah, but look at this."
Yeah, and I think that type of thing comes from people who, you know, who enjoy. I am guilty of this. I know everyone's guilty of this at some point, but sometimes it is fun to like look at how someone is acting and behaving and make generalizations and mock them for it. You know, like we've all done that before. But that is like the root of something that is so harmful and has become a divisive thing in our society where that mockery then turns into like, well, because they're different and because we're laughing at them, they can't be trusted and we really shouldn't like have relationships and friendships with them. And then like conspiracy theories start to come out of that because there's like this divide between people. And it's amazing how those things kind of like spiral out of control. And I really love the fact that they kind of address that with the Ferengi in this show by making a species who is mockable and laughable and kind of despicable in so many ways, but like still kind of respectable. There's still something kind of great about the Ferengi. Like when you get into the Great Material Continuum, their way of thinking almost becomes like slightly beautiful.
Right.
And like, you know, we see change happen in the Ferengi over the course of the show. I just really like what they did with the Ferengi. You know, I really appreciate it. And to me, this is like the beginning of it, because up until this point on the show, it's just been a lot of like, what's the word? Just like,
it's surface stuff.
Yeah, like broad surface stuff. Right. And then we start to get a little bit deeper here. Like, what is their ethos? How do they think?
Right.
What's important to them?
It's when they move beyond, like, all Ferengi are this way. You know, where you've met a handful of Ferengi over the show, but then they start to broaden the personalities of the individual Ferengis that they meet.
Yeah.
And through them, you start to see their culture, their society. The TNG did that with Klingons.
Yeah,
you know, that was the big thing that they
totally.
But that you don't see that early on in the first 2 seasons of Star Trek of Next Generation.
That's a really good point. I think that the relationship is similar. That the original series kind of did it with Vulcans, just through Spock. I mean, every series has like one particular alien species that they really develop.
Yeah, and Discovery goes back to Klingons and fixes some stuff
and ruins.
They make them the monsters
everything.
They should be.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I mean, what's the point of having space orcs that you're going to fight in space unless they're orcs?
You know what?
Thank you, Discovery.
Moving on. I will say that Deep Space Nine also really develops changelings. And not quite as much as Ferengi, but quite a bit.
Redevelops changelings. We've had changelings since TNG, but everyone seems to forget about that.
Wait.
Wesley made out with a changeling. Come on.
Oh, the elasmorph.
Yeah, they have a name for it. It's not even a species.
Yeah. That episode is dumb.
I mean, it is Odo's people.
I don't think that that's the same species.
Oh, you were saying that shapeshifters developed independently throughout the galaxy?
Yes. Yes. Because the elastomorph, if they shapeshifted into a glass and then were thrown against the wall,
that's Vortex.
They wouldn't break.
That's Vortex. We can save that.
Yeah, we'll save that. I'm very excited to talk about that. But speaking of Discovery,
yes,
and Discovery is a trash fire, by the way. I did watch the 2 short treks that have been released.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
In between seasons 1 and 2, Discovery is releasing these like 15 to 20 minute short like anthology episodes. And the first one, have you seen these?
I haven't watched either one of them. Yeah.
The first one was fantastic. It was wonderful.
Great.
It was so good. It was by far the best thing that Discovery has put out.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was different writers and creative team, and it doesn't feature any of the actors from the show.
Right. I mean, which is the way Star Trek is in general.
Yeah.
That's
I'm sorry, it's the second one, not the first one. The first one features Tilly, and the second one is
right. The second one they had a professional writer. It's the
is it?
Yeah. Is it?
I'm so curious. I was gonna look this up and I forgot.
Yeah, because I've been reading about it and. This is really streaming on my part.
What was the name of it? I don't remember.
Right, it's the one that's like a bunch of years in the future.
Yeah. It was so good.
Yeah, Michael, I don't know how to pronounce
Michael
his name.
Chabon wrote that?
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce his name either. Okay, he is show running the Picard show. Or like the lead writer or something on the Picard show.
Yeah, Michael Chabon writing for
Yeah. And I read one of his novels once. He's like a real legit author.
Yeah.
Wow.
What is
he
it?
wrote
the
that.
The policeman's ball, the time traveling detective at the policeman's midnight ball.
I read something that he wrote where it was like supposed to be Sherlock Holmes in the future. Like after he was supposed to have died, not like time travel future, but like years after he was supposed to have died or something.
Oh, Wonder Boys.
The Yiddish Policeman's. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, the Yiddish Policeman's Union.
Oh,
that was like one of the big books he did. That.
Oh, well, now I'm interested in his writing because that.
Oh, look, we tied it back into Judaism. We get the Yiddish
go.
Policeman's Ball.
That short trek episode was. Do we know the title of it?
Calypso.
Calypso. Thank you, Calypso. Go watch that, you guys. If you don't have CBS All Access, don't go watch it. But if you do have CBS All Access, go watch it.
If you've got
restarted
$8 to spare, sign up for CBS All Access. Do you want more Star Trek?
Yeah, I actually am a affiliate with CBS All Access. So if you're gonna sign up for it, let me know. I'll give you a link, and you can support this show.
Literally 2 minutes ago,
I trash them all the time.
Don't sign up for CBS.
I've been an affiliate for years, and only one person ever signed up through it, and they hated Discovery, and I felt so bad. That was an awkward thing for me because they were trying to support me and they wanted to see Discovery. And it was and we were all kind of taken aback, except for Doug. We were all kind of taken aback by how bad it was.
I know better.
So I don't really talk about it that much, but I have been a CBS affiliate for years now. It's
the real soft sell.
Yeah.
Listen, don't sign up for CBS All Access. Discovery is garbage. If you're gonna do it anyway.
If I can't stop you, use my code.
That's going to be the way we approach all advertisers.
Yeah, totally.
If I can't stop you, use my code.
I actually just signed up for Amazon affiliate program.
Are we finally doing shirts off?
Oh, we're getting naked, man. I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, so don't buy anything on Amazon, but if I can't stop you, use my link.
All right. I feel like we haven't read the chat for a long time.
Yes. Amanda thinks Ferengi are gross looking,
they are
but
gross.
maybe you have something against ears. I don't know. Do you have, what's the opposite of an ear fetish? Atalki, what's up, dude? Look, he's got Dana Troy. Isn't that cool?
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. See, sometimes you'll get a mod who is also a member.
Oh,
That's like the fanciest of the fancy.
I mean, it wants to know if I want more Trash Fire. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay, I am
Star
so
Trek is
excited.
Trash Fire on a Trash
I'm gonna be totally
Fire.
honest. I'm pretty excited for season 2 of Discovery.
Yeah,
because they fired the writers, and I think that the writing was the problem. So if the writers are gone, the showrunners have changed. Although I don't really trust Alex Kurtzman as a showrunner because he made the Star Trek movies, which are pretty good, but Into Darkness has some massive issues, that should not have happened, in my opinion. Anyway, Into Darkness to me feels like the person who made Into Darkness could make a bad TV show. You know what I mean?
Right.
But Michael Chabon, or however you say his name,
Chabon.
Chabon. Jabon. I'm very excited for him.
I was about to
do
look.
the
I'm like, I
Picard
don't need
show.
to look it up how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Picard show is going to be great.
Yeah, because Calypso was mind-blowingly wonderful. I was like completely spellbound by it. It was so. It was like what a new Star Trek should be.
Well, no, it's because they won't. I don't think that they'll make like a whole series of.
Oh, they won't.
Of
They
these
won't.
kinds of things. But what it's showing is that there's flexibility in the property
Yes.
to do more with it.
It's showing that, I think what it's showing to me personally as a fan is like, well, we know that we didn't really get everyone initially. Like, we know we didn't get you all on board with this, and we recognize that maybe there's some issues with it. But look what else we can do, and like come back for season 2 because we can do other stuff too. But Calypso to me was like, it was spellbinding in a way that like Black Mirror or something like that is spellbinding,
Right.
where it's like the storytelling is just so tight and condensed and wonderful.
Yeah.
But it also felt so much like Star Trek to me, but in a way that was completely unfamiliar.
Yeah. Did you ever read that thing I sent
Squirrel!
you? The
There's a squirrel.
Squirrel.
Yep, there's a squirrel outside. There was actually a squirrel outside. I am the dog from Up.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Whose name was Douglas. Douglas.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Space Nine. Oh, the treatment that Brian Fuller did for his proposal for what Discovery, or not
Yeah.
Discovery, but before Discovery,
Yeah,
when he was
that's
saying
right.
that when
It
there
was
was
an
no
anthology
news
show.
series, right?
Yeah.
The Federation, where it's 3,000 years in the future.
Oh my god, you're right. It was Calypso.
Well,
That's
and-
what it became.
or at least that it shows that they were willing to go further. Because I
Wow.
think that one is even further in the future.
I don't remember how far it was, but
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
It's the only time they've gone into the future and not made it like, oh, it's a time warp thing, and now we're going to reset back to what has always been the present of Star Trek. You know,
Yeah.
this like stakes out canon way in the future, which is wonderful.
Which is cool. I mean, Calypso did like one irreversible thing for the canon of Discovery that cannot be altered, but it didn't really touch the rest of.
Or can it?
Oh god. But it didn't really touch like the rest of the Star Trek lore,
Right.
in a way that was really nice. So and then it just like had so much of an emotional core in a way that was just like fascinating and reminded me of episodes like Measure of a Man and Next Generation, and like thinking about Data and what he is, and like what does it mean to be a machine and also
Right.
self-aware. So yeah, I mean,
See, I think
gotta watch it.
let's keep talking about Discovery. So season
Okay.
1 of Discovery, I think, is the framing device for what's going to be one of the best series of Star Trek. And it's the way that when you watch like a random episode of TNG and you're like, what the fuck? They just found like this weird thing that would change, and they talk about it in the episode like, well, if this gets out, this is going to change the nature of the balance of power in the galaxy. But it's a throwaway because it's a single episode, self-contained. This is basically taking that kind of story and stretching it out and doing more of an examination of it.
Sure. I mean,
People are freaked out, like, well, why don't they have the mushroom drive forever? Nothing in Star Trek lasts between episodes, you know, calm down.
I guess my issue with it is, like, I don't... If we look at, like, the arc of Discovery Season 1 on paper, like, if we look at just the arc of it, I'm actually not against it.
Right.
You know, we have this Klingon Civil War, and spoilers for Discovery, but we have this Klingon Civil War, and then we also have this, like, rogue captain who, something may be off with, who ends up being from the Mirror Universe, and, like... We have to kind of, you know, learn things from the Mirror Universe in order to defeat the Klingons. On paper, that all sounds great to me.
They did,
but
it
the
comes out real
execution of it is fucking terrible.
Yeah,
It's
just like Star Trek.
no. I mean, like, both episodes that we watched for Deep Space Nine this week were executed pretty damn well, you know?
Yeah,
There's
this
shit that's,
week.
like, way out there.
Yes, this week.
I mean, I think a majority of the episodes we've watched for Season 1 of Deep Space Nine have been executed pretty damn well. Like,
Yeah, but
there's a couple
We're
of...
now at, like, the equivalent, or close to the equivalent, of what Discovery has done so far. People
Yeah,
are
Deep
judging
Space Nine is blowing Discovery out of the water already. I love how much we disagree. We will never be able to agree about this. Like, it's great. I love it.
You'll see.
I mean, we might agree that Season 2 of Discovery is good.
It's not often that people come to start to loathe Star Trek that they previously liked. It usually, the arc of history bends in the other direction.
That's super true. That's a good point. And I recognize that I hated Into Darkness the first time I saw it, and I kind of liked it the second time. Yeah. But they still, they cure death in that movie. It's stupid. The Spore Drive was destroying the universe. Why would they want that to be used more? Yeah, see, Doug's right that they can write the Spore Drive out, and that's not something that I did kind of like dislike the fact that they brought that in, the whole mycelial network that is never mentioned again, because it seems like such a big deal that it would come up. But if we can put that down, and I can like reasonably put that down, like I can reasonably put down the fact that the Klingons look and act totally different.
The fact they don't talk about Q every episode blows my mind.
Yeah, totally.
Because that would just completely change all of society.
Yeah, so I can put those things down and kind of deal with them. But what I can't put down is like the horrible storyline with Ash Tyler, where they kind of, it's like, we're going to talk about PTSD. No, we're not. You know, we're going to talk about someone being abused and tortured. No, we're not. You know, we're just going to bring up these things that seem like what Star Trek should talk about in 2018, and then not talk about them and like not develop them at all, and in fact kind of like go the opposite direction and just completely muddy everything and make it pointless. And then we're gonna like finally show some representation of gay characters, and then we're gonna kill the minority in the gay character, like minority gay character off. Like, come on! I mean, they completely undid everything that I liked about the show, and all of it was in the premise. Like, the premise was great, and they completely undid all of it, and you end up with something that is convoluted, for me, unenjoyable, kind of like dumb to the point of being uninteresting, and I didn't care about any of the characters that were left.
You have a big hill to climb out of.
I do.
I'm very excited.
I think I can do it, though. Like, I loved Calypso.
I firmly believe that it doesn't commit sins that weren't committed by all other Star Treks. It fixes some things, but it also doesn't fix other things.
For me, I think that the fact that it
squarely within
it would like set itself up to try to fix the sins of Star Trek past.
Sure, so did
the writers
TNG.
Talked about that.
So did TNG.
But TNG pulled it off, and this show absolutely did not.
I would point you to several episodes in TNG's history that are far more of a garbage fire than people think. Discovery is, which hasn't even finished its run, you know. So
I
TNG
can think
at
of
least
like
has
a handful. I can think of off the top of my head at least like 3 episodes of TNG that are terrible garbage fires. That like the one where Beverly fucks a ghost, the one where they go to the planet of the African culture, and it's so racist and awful.
Code of Honor.
Code of Honor. Sub Rosa is the other one. Masks, where Data has like all those people in his body.
His Sirach, I am Sirach moment. No, Kirok. I was doing my own meme. I am Kirok.
Wait, what?
Though it's that in original series when Kirk is possessed by what they've made out to be like a Native American tribe.
Oh, right. Oh yeah, I am Sirach. Okay. I was laughing at that because I was remembering the meme, and now it's all back together in my mind. I'm a little stoned.
Data with the mask is the Kirok moment for him.
Yeah, but
Space Irish.
But all of those episodes don't promise something that they are not only not delivering, but don't seem to know how to deliver. And Discovery promises things it doesn't understand and cannot deliver. And I really think that was an issue with the writing, and I'm so glad those writers are gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's only going to get better.
Yeah, for sure. And watching After Trek and hearing them talk about the show and like their kind of like almost pompous assessment of like what they had created being so good and valuable and powerful, and I'm like, come on, it made me hate the show more, like listening to those writers talk about it, because they're just like, what we're doing with the Klingons, like, you may not be with us yet, but you're gonna get it by the end. Like, we're gonna go deep, and we have this episode with Saru coming up that's like so emotionally powerful, and everyone on set cried, and then like we come to find out on the After Trek episode that all the episodes that the actors loved were cut out. Like they're like, yeah, I mean, there was some stuff that I really liked from the script that didn't make it into the final episode. It's like, yeah, no, you're saying that because you watched this and you realize it's bad and like it doesn't make sense anymore. I don't know. We shouldn't talk about Discovery.
I hate hearing people talk about Star Trek, so I would never watch After Trek.
I'd rather watch people talk about Star Trek that have no idea what they're talking about.
Well, you can't. I mean,
like us.
After Trek is propaganda. It's CBS Star Trek propaganda.
It is.
There's no reason to watch it now.
Yeah.
Watch all of Star Trek, and then if you're really interested in having, I mean, we're getting to the point where we're gonna have DVD commentary while the episode is happening, and then the After Trek with its commentary. Like,
oh my god,
calm down. Just watch the show.
Right.
You don't need to, listen to them.
Yeah.
Learn enough so you can argue with people online about it, and that's all you need to do.
Yeah, like Matt Myra, the host of that show, hosts one of my favorite podcasts, Star Trek The Next Conversation. And what's great about it is that they are just honest about how they feel about episodes. Like, if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. And on this show, he has to like everything. Like, that's his job.
Right.
And I don't think that he's pulling it off, in my opinion. Like,
they need me, because I love it.
I feel like
paid to love it.
I feel like I can tell that maybe he doesn't love it as much as he pretends to love it. And I think maybe that's where the disconnect is with him hosting that show, because I've heard a lot of flack. He got a lot of flack for his hosting of it.
There's too much. I mean, I don't... This is just turning into old man conversation, but the influence of the audience as a show is happening, I think, can have a negative effect on the people producing the show. And this is that kind of thing where previous Star Treks didn't have this immediate sort of feedback and backlash. You know, you just got to do the show, wait for it to come out, and then have it be judged in a longer term. But
right, I think I mean, as a streamer, I definitely understand how getting instant feedback for what you're doing can shape how you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. I mean, streaming is all about that. It's like, if you guys are having fun, we keep doing it. If people aren't showing up and we're not having fun, we stop. Unless it's this show, in which case I'm going to do it no matter what. Holy shit, Amanda just pledged $1 on Patreon. Amanda, thank you so much.
Boom.
Holy crap. I didn't see that notification pop up or hear the song, but I just saw the thing. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Amanda, we're doing the private stream. Well, you were already coming because you're a mod, but private stream is happening because we got a lot of mods and sponsors and people here right now. It's happening on Sunday at 2 p.m.
Is that the sexy After Dark private stream?
It's just me stripping, that's all it is. I play Splatoon and naked.
How does private stream just not sound positively mucky?
It really does. Oh, the thank you video, yeah, it's... I forgot about that. It's me, like, dancing with 2 synthesizers and like, singing a song.
Nice.
Anyway.
The Nagus.
The Nagus. Wow, we got so sidetracked. Yeah.
It's my fault. I do really love pushing you into talking about Discovery.
We have to cover Discovery at some point. Like,
we kind of already are.
We got to do it episode by episode, though, because I need I need you to know why I hate it. Like, I need you to know, like, all the specific things.
We'll do that next. We'll jump around, like, itinerant time travelers.
Yeah,
the Star Trek continuum.
We could talk about doing that between seasons of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Nagus.
Yeah, it's not Doug Space 9 if it's not sidetracked, totally. You have a question, can you watch a private stream? So the private streams are for the channel members. If you hit that join button and you have, like, the special things.
You will love the private
emotes.
streams.
They can't see him.
Massage your
head. See? Down here? There you go. There you go, you're doing it now.
Massage your
Twitch
head
Prime
during
subs
the
or any
private
Twitch subs
streams.
at all. Patreon subscribers, and yeah, like Amanda said,
Do you
just
like the way
like
this
$1 a
feels?
month for Patreon gets you in there. Hey, Sinkable Unicorn, what's up? You're a Phil. You're a Phil. I never knew that. It's so weird, like, finding out people's names that I've known in chat for like over a year as like Sexy Ninja or something like that.
I see.
You know?
Oh, I see. Yeah, but how could you believe him? Like, I could wander in here and go, "Hi, I'm also Sinkable Unicorn."
Yeah. Yo, Super Hamster, what's up, dude? Okay, so let's get back to the Nagus, because you have kindled this fire of anger in the pit of my soul towards Discovery.
And let's take a break.
Because, like, Star Trek is supposed to be about something, right?
Yes.
But I gotta say, bring it back to the Nagus, I struggled to figure out what this episode was about.
Capitalism.
Except for the subplot between Jake and Nog, where Jake is teaching Nog how to read.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep.
Like, I love that plot.
That was cute. It was sweet. It was very heartfelt. It was the parental advice stuff was interesting because I liked Cisco's really kind of like fuck you attitude to Miles. Like, call me when your kid's 14.
His fuck you attitude to Miles.
Yeah.
You mean my dog? Making a dumb joke, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's a good dumb joke.
Yeah, he says, your daughter's 3.
Yeah.
Imagine when she's 14.
Yeah.
It's like,
and he's all
your daughter is 3. But she was born a year and a half ago on the episode Disaster of TNG. Isn't that weird?
No, it's Star Trek.
Yeah,
Time
totally.
is fucked. I can prove demonstrably that time is fucky in the Star Trek universe because of Ed Begley Jr. Ed Begley Jr. ruined the very fabric of time in Star Trek, and that's why.
Wait. Don't tell me in which episode. Let me think for a second.
Sure.
Ed Begley Jr.
This is why kids age several years for no reason. It's why there's all these holes in space time, and there's
like Alexander comes back 2 years after he was conceived, and he's like 7.
yeah.
But supposedly Klingons can like age faster.
Yeah, or time is just fundamentally broken.
What episode of Star Trek was Ed Begley Jr. in? I can't remember.
An exercise for the viewers, readers, members.
Okay, tell me I lied. Tell me. Oh
Chat,
no.
We'll let chat figure it out.
It's making. Oh my God, Super Hamster. No, you broke it. He broke it. It makes me wonder what language he's teaching Nog to read in. We know Nog doesn't speak English. Shit, yeah, the universal translator. What fucking language is he teaching him to read with?
He's teaching him to read English. Nog doesn't need to speak English with a universal translator to not know how to read English and learn to read English. Because Jake will show him written English, and then Nog will try to say it in English.
Ugh. Okay. So he's learning to read English, but he's pronouncing it all in Ferengi.
No, he's pronouncing it in English. He's learning to speak English natively without a universal translator.
I think that he is learning to read... Oh, poor Miles is coughing. I think that he's learning to read based off of the meaning of the word, and then in his mind he's thinking it in Ferengi, but when he speaks it out loud, it comes out in English because of the universal translator for us.
Nah, no, too complicated. Made it too complicated. Turn off the universal translator. I'm going to teach you how to read English. Done and done.
They fucked up Naomi Wildman's Agent Voyager.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's also a victim of time stuff.
Wasn't Ed a crazy Vulcan on Enterprise?
No.
Hey, Jason. No, that's not it.
If he was, it's still not who I'm thinking of.
I can almost see him.
Picture.
It's the dude with
90s. It's the
Sitwell from
Ed Begley Jr.
Arrested Development
Ed Begley Jr.
in the 90s.
In the 90s.
Can you tell me what series it was on?
Voyager.
Oh fuck.
And yes, I can.
Is that the one where
Boom, Amanda.
Futures End?
Yeah, he's the one that there's like a time ship, and he starts a technology company, ChronoWorks, and he's using future technology to make his company.
Oh, with Sarah Silverman.
Right, and then
yes, that's it.
Basically, they say like, oh, because of this is how we got to space. This company, we can't, have this company get ruined. So all of the things that the Federation uses to explore space is based on this stolen time technology.
Yes.
They're just fucking with. They warp time too much in that one.
Okay, no, you're right. So if time is fucked, children age at different rates than they should.
Yes.
And it all makes sense. And the
fixed.
mycelial network. We got it.
I got you distracted again.
We brought the Star Trek magic mushroom rating down just now. Like across the board.
Yes, those are easily explained things.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, but I love. Okay. All logic aside,
you love them teaching.
I love Jake teaching Nod to read.
Yeah, that's very sweet. Yeah.
That scene is so touching. Like Cisco is having these issues with Nog being Jake's friend, and he just can't get over it. But then he secretly finds his son teaching another boy to read, and it's just like the sweetest thing you've ever seen in your goddamn life.
And what they're showing you is that pre-Beetle Snuff. No. New headcanon. Beetle Snuff affected Rom is a terrible father.
Terrible father.
And he's just being not abusive, maybe emotionally, definitely not physically, because Rom's a sweetheart, even though he did try to kill his brother. High on Beetle Snuff. But yeah, he's turned Nog into this rebellious asshole, and this shows that Nog is generally a good kid,
Yeah.
Given the right environment. So once his father gets off Beetle Snuff,
think
Rom really blossoms.
I think that you mean Nog really blossoms.
Nog really blossoms.
I think Rom was actually drinking. And I think that he has multiple. I think because when we see him first in the season, he's like really angry, and like really assertive in a way that we don't come to see him later. I think that's drunk Rom. I think that's functional alcoholic Rom. And
Rom has a lot of problems.
And then I think that he tries to quit that by getting on Beetle Snuff. And then his personality breaks just like overnight, and he turns into this like bumbling fool. But then, as his brain chemistry evens out later on, he becomes a better father. But at this point, he's a terrible father.
He's a terrible father.
Yeah. Time is fucked in space, magic, mushrooms, and wizards. Yeah, that's basically the problem.
Q
is a wizard.
Right. Trelane is a wizard.
Trelane is a wizard. Hey, Patrick, what's up, dude? So yeah, I feel like to me... Nagilum, yes! Nagilum! That episode rocks, man. Where Silence Has Least. Do you like that episode?
Yeah. Oh, here. Keep distracting.
Did you make a Nagilum meme? Yes, show it to me. Rom's arc in DS9 is awesome. Bar idiot to lead into the Ferengi Alliance. I know. Slight spoilers there. I shouldn't have read that out loud, but
it's okay.
I totally agree. I feel like if we could have started Rom's arc in this episode, and I choose to believe that it does, it makes a lot more sense. But yeah, I really like it.
One of the keys to enjoying Star Trek is ignoring things that you don't like.
That's true. So. It's true. Like you can't And I mean, Star Wars is the same way at this point. You have to like ignore all 3 prequels if you want to even have a chance at ignoring any movies.
Or find the way into them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Find your way into the prequels?
Well, just like
with
find
headcanon?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that would be fun. Dude, someday we should you know what would be a fun stream is if we just like sat down and tried to and watched the Phantom Menace and just tried to make it enjoyable.
We're just trying to fix other series.
Spoilers. Well, just if anyone is like watching the show with us, you know, like if anyone has never seen Deep Space Nine who's watching the show with us as we talk about it. Oh my god, let me see. It's perfect. It's just like, it's just everything we've been talking about. It's a picture of Nagilam's face, and it says, Hava Nagilam.
Right. And I gave him a little yarmulke, and then...
Oh, there's a yarmulke, let me see.
I gave him a yarmulke and curls.
Oh my god, it's...
But I tried to make that, like, subtle.
It's, like, offensive and wonderful, and I love it. I love it.
Well, it's, you know...
We should headcanon the shit out of that, totally. That's what we do here. We just... Providing headcanon for you to enjoy all episodes of Deep Space Nine, and none of Discovery. My goal is to make sure that no one else enjoys Discovery, because it is garbage. Yeah, Patrick, I did hear that. It's very sad. The SpongeBob creator died.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So yeah, to me, like the arc in this episode that is like so Star Trek is Jake teaching Nog to read.
Yeah,
like, it's just so sweet. But then the other arc that we have is like Grand Nagus Zek coming to the station, faking his own death to test his son to see if his son is ready to become Nagus.
He's not.
By making Quark think that he's Nagus for a couple of days, and it really goes to Quark's head for a couple of days.
Right.
But then his brother Rom and the Nagus' son. Grax?
Ooh, Grawl?
Grawl, maybe. They both try to kill Quark to become Nagus. Like, that's the other plot of this story. And that plot makes so little sense, because if he wanted to test his son, why is the Grand Nagus mad that his son tried to kill Quark?
Because he wants Quark to, or someone else to be the Grand Nagus, and his son to see the opportunity is to run the bar. That being Grand Nagus in the Alpha, in the Gamma Quadrant, isn't where the profit lies.
Yeah, for me that's
which also doesn't make sense, because it seems like it also seems like the Grand Nagus has all this power and also no power. It's a very strange, and also the Federation clearly does not give a fuck that the living embodiment of the Holy Ashekar on the Prime Material Plane is at Deep Space Nine, and no one is there to meet him. Like, there's no dignitaries, there's no...
I didn't think about that.
He's treated like an absolute nobody.
But he's dressed as the Emperor from Star Wars, so maybe they don't know who he is. I actually have a new theory that Grand Nagus Zek is the Emperor from Star Wars. Because remember earlier on in the season when they were like going to go stop at the Alderaan system? We know it's been proven already that they're in the same universe. And he shows up wearing the dude's clothes. Maybe it's the same guy. Because if you ignore the prequels, which you should, we've never seen the Emperor's ears. They're very similar otherwise, you know? I think it's the same dude.
He's spending all... That's how the Death Star got all of its funding. He's just embezzling it from the Ferengi.
I love his laugh, by the way. It's so good. Yeah, so but Wallace Shawn as Zek is like brilliant casting.
Oh, you know who I liked better though?
Exactly, Tolkien. They do look like each other. That's the thing. They do look like each other.
I like one of the Ferengis that came in, the muscle.
Oh, Lee Ehrenberg.
Dude. Yeah.
He played the
Grand Nagus. Yes.
Yes, that guy's so good. He played one of the pirates in Pirates of the Caribbean. The guy who's always like, "Hello, puppet." He played that guy. Okay. And he's on Star Trek a lot. He's great.
Character actor. The Ferengis,
so good.
They just pepper in a bunch of character actors and let them am it up.
Yeah.
And it's perfect.
His Ferengi character is definitely nominated for best performance in this episode because he like nails it. But yeah, Wallace Shawn's got to be in there too.
Oh, yeah. I've been debating that in my head all morning.
Yeah. I have not come to a solution yet. Oh, Miles is coughing so much.
This one's interesting because there's we did talk a little about Discovery, but like normally we do this deep dive into the plot, but I don't. It's what I loved and didn't love about this, where it just was like nothing. There's like these things that have to happen. But it's not like a compelling. It's not like
it's more like character study.
It's a character study. Yeah. It's like a play, but sort of like a loosey-goosey play.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like it so much. Is because I love Star Trek when people just sit down and talk to each other. I just find that so interesting, and this like totally nails that. I mean, we learn so much about the Ferengi culture. We learn so much about Jake and his dad, and Nog and Rom and Quark, and it's just. It just feels really well written to me, and feels really cohesive as far as characters are concerned. But yeah, the plot doesn't quite make sense, because it doesn't make sense to me that Zek would be testing his son in this way.
Right.
Because Zek's like, when he explains it at the end, he's like, yeah, you should have seen the prophet was in the bar, and you quietly gain power from the shadows, and then you take over. Obviously, like, his plan has like 5 different tiers of like steps, and is so complicated. He's like, obviously this is what you should have done. You're not ready to be Nagus. I'm like, is that what it takes to be ready to be Nagus? Is like to read your goddamn mind and know exactly what you'd have done in this situation?
So I think the way you have to take it is you have to take it that Zek is just a maniac. He's just an addle-minded horn dog of a ruler.
And I think that works, honestly.
Like you should go, what? That was the plan? It should make no sense.
Yeah, and it has now been explicitly made explicit that the holosuites are covered in space jizz. They're just like covered in the semen of species from all over the Gamma and Alpha quadrants.
No, because these holosuites have auto-clean mechanisms that can guarantee that no semen has left a hermetically sealed force field bubble, level 10 decontamination beam.
Yeah, I mean, they could run a beam through there to just dematerialize everything that's not supposed to be there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I hope that they do, because otherwise there's little bits of Grand Nagus Zek all over the place. Because they like go above and beyond to make it clear that he is fucking holograms, you know? Like they really go out of their way to make sure that you know that this old Ferengi dude is fucking holograms.
Multiple times. He spent a lot of time at it.
Are we saying Nagus or naked? The Grand Naked? That sounds different.
The Grand Naked.
Yeah. The Grand Nagus naked coming on the walls in the holosuite, because that's what's happening in this episode.
Trek!
It makes lots of sense.
So think about that, is that the people that were like super into TNG that despised Deep Space Nine when it came out, this is the kind of episode that is going to make them flip their lid, you know? Like, it's all about this gross asshole jizzing into the holodecks.
Yeah.
You've got characters that are murdering each other, that are like series regulars, you know? Like, that's not Star Trek.
It's not, and that's why I like it so much.
But it became Star Trek.
I like it because you also have Jake teaching Nog to read. It's like Starfleet is here in a situation that is not Star Trek. You know, Starfleet is here to kind of see if the Star Trek ideals can work in a Star Wars world. Or just like a horny capitalist American world. Spaceball, yeah, exactly. And I love that premise. I mean, I feel like episodes like this that kind of focus on that and show you how your main characters are gross and despicable and different from what you'd expect them to be, work really well. And I think that the next episode does that also with Odo.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, Super Hamster says, you know, those folks on the Enterprise were jizzing on the holodeck. Yeah. Barclay is totally had sex with holodeck Deanna Troi.
So did Picard and Riker. Like, they make that explicit in season 1 of TNG. Or no, not explicit. They hint at it very strongly.
Oh, with Minuet?
Minuet,
yeah. It's gross. And yeah, Tuvok at one point explicitly has sex with a hologram to survive Pon Farr.
To calm down.
Wasn't a hologram of his wife?
Probably. Tuvok doesn't strike me as somebody who would, even in his fantasy world, derogate from his marriage.
But this is a good time to talk about this.
The holodecks?
Would you have holosex? Would you create an ideal partner in the holodeck to have sex with if holodecks existed? You're like your own version of an ideal partner for you.
I don't know, because there's something about the essence of sentience that Star Trek is very vague on when it comes to the holodeck.
Right.
Like, basically, they present data as like, look at this artificial intelligence that is a mystery to us, and then later on you find out, like, if you just leave a computer on too long, it can become sentient.
Right.
Or if you ask a computer to make a sentient computer, it will just do it for you.
Right.
So that part is odd to me, and I would want to have that sorted out in my mind before I was going to have sex with something.
That's such a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a really good answer.
'Cause
Amanda says if I was single, maybe.
You hit an uncanny valley.
The ultimate sex toy, yeah.
Right, so there's a point where where sex toy hits the uncanny valley before it becomes like, oh, this is a sentient person, and issues of consent are involved. So I don't want to get so close to that line that I don't understand it, and I can just jerk off and watch hollow porn in the meantime, you know?
That's a good compromise. John says the Doctor on Voyager is sentient. Yeah, and that's the example of like you leave a hologram on too long, it becomes sentient. It's going to happen in this show to Vic Fontaine. It's going to be wonderful when
lightning
it happens.
struck the Voyager computers and turned it sentient.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, and that is the rule. Like you leave a hologram on too long, it becomes sentient. We've seen it happen twice.
Yeah, and Fontaine, somebody just makes him. Just some dude is like, oh, because I think he's one guy who's like, you know what? If you just ask a computer to make a sentient computer, it will.
Yeah.
So
it's like the hologram knowing that it's a hologram is the first step into becoming self-aware and to becoming sentient. I think that when the hologram doesn't know that, it stays unaware. It seems like we saw it with Moriarty, we saw it with the Doctor, and we saw it with Vic Fontaine.
They have it with the thug guy in one of the early ones.
Oh
Dixon, where he walks out into the end. He walks out into the hallway.
Yeah,
and is there and is slowly dissolving. Is like, what's this? What's going on?
Yeah, and then right at the end of that episode, Dixon Hill's partner is realizing that he's not real, and you can see like the spark of sentience in his eyes.
Yeah, they're just like, oh well, see you later.
Yeah, he's like about to become a sentient.
Pause program.
Yeah. Computer end program. Oh fuck! No. Yeah, so that's such a good answer because like I have thought about this before, and my immediate response is like, of course I'd fuck a hologram.
I'll fuck anything.
But speaking as my teenage self, like when I was a virgin, I think that I would have wanted to fuck a hologram to kind of gain some confidence, you know, to have sex with a real person for the first time. But what you're saying, I think, is too real. I think that when you are intimate with an illusion, that illusion takes on some of your soul and becomes real in a way, you know, even if it's just real to you. And I think that when you are intimate with an illusion, the illusion could possibly, in this situation, become a little bit more self-aware on its own. I think there's something about intimacy that's important and valuable and like powerful that when used carelessly has negative results. So I'm a little afraid. I would be a little afraid to have sex with a hologram because you're right. Like, what if something happens there that kind of like what if by sleeping with this hologram you're kind of pushing it towards self-awareness, and then you would owe something.
Yeah, child support for the litter of hollow babies.
I don't know. That's really interesting. Andy's calling. Does she want to weigh in on this?
Hollow babies. Andy, go.
Are you watching? Do you want to weigh in on this situation?
Hello?
Hi.
Hello. First time, long time.
Is this the show?
Yes. Oh, you're not watching. I was hoping you were watching us talk about whether or not we'd have sex with holograms, and you were calling in, but I guess not.
Andy in Minneapolis, you're on with Doug Space Nine. Go ahead with your question, Andy.
Well, I'd love to talk about that. I literally just got out of rehearsal. That's the only reason I'm not tuned in, but I'm running home now to tune in.
Okay, important question. If you could have sex with a hologram, would you?
Do you mean just like in general, or like?
Not tonight, no.
Like if you were a horny teenager looking, and you were a virgin, and it was an option.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like I don't even think I mean, this. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this right now, but I don't think I'd be mad if it was something we talked about. If you like had sex with a hologram.
Oh well, then that changes everything.
You know? Like, I think, you know, we would, like, talk about it, but I'd kind of be like, if it was, like, exciting for you and it was, like, you know, I'd be like, all right, I mean, why not?
Okay, well, hold on. Doug...
Jesse just got a hologram hall pass.
Doug just talked about... Doug just talked about the fact that in Star Trek, when you leave programs on too long, they tend to become self-aware. So, and we were talking about, like, if you have sex with a hologram, are you like imbibing it with life somehow? And if you have a relationship that you build, like think about Blade Runner 2049, where what's his name had that relationship with that fake woman who kind of became more than her programming. Like what if like through being intimate with this thing, you kind of give it life somehow?
Well, that is where the well, okay. I think that's where okay, there's two contexts. Because in the context of what we were just talking about, like, I had the hall pass scenario, I think I would only be cool with it if it was, like, you living out a fantasy. I don't know if I'd love you having, like, a hologram girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, no sleepovers.
Like if you were like, hey, I want to do this thing, I'd be like, sure, but, oh, I'm sorry. But if I don't know, if it was like a full-fledged relationship,
emotional
with
connections,
somebody who felt real, then I don't think it would actually seem that different to me.
Right.
As a person,
than cheating, yeah.
But,
okay, so here's the answer. You can only sleep with any individual hologram once. There you go.
Right.
They won't become self-aware.
On a limited time basis, I would say. In some way, you know?
Yeah, you know, I think...
Like, I think, unfortunately, when it becomes... I think it's the line for me is when it stops being about you and becomes about the two of you.
Ooh.
Oh,
you
wow.
know?
Even though the hologram is not real, Jesse's feelings are.
You're right, and like the dynamic of the two of them is real, as opposed to like, oh, this is something I want to experience because I want to experience, and then all of a sudden you're considering like the hologram side of their feelings and their experience. I think that's where the line is in my mind.
And I don't know if I could, like, I don't know, because I have feelings about my Legend of Zelda game file, you know? Like, I don't think that I'd be able to have that line.
This is taking a weird turn.
Yeah.
This is interesting to me.
Maybe, but you've spent a lot of time with that, you know? Like, if it was just a one-time program, you know? Or, like, what if it was, like, a hologram version of a celebrity you had a crush on or something, you know?
What if I could sleep with, like, 5 of you at the same time? That'd be rad.
Everyone knows Alien. Jesse is going to be making Alien holograms to have sex with. That's
oh yeah, T'Pol.
100%.
It's definitely T'Pol from Enterprise.
But then that's tough too, because what if you create a hologram version of somebody without their consent?
Uh-huh.
Well, I would assume that you'd be there too.
They get into that later.
Well, yeah, I know. But I'm talking about a version where it's like you create a hologram version of Jennifer Lopez or something, and you're like, for all intents and purposes, in your mind, are having sex with Jennifer Lopez. Like, how does she feel about that?
Right.
Yeah, that's creepy. How does Jolene Blaylock feel that I'm having sex with holographic T'Pol?
Not good.
Probably not good.
Right.
They do that with
like,
Kira.
I don't know.
They address that with Kira in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, I feel like it's too much of a bag of worms to open, you know? I feel like it's not...
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
But I think it would be like open relationships. Like people would have to make their own rules about it, and like.
Yeah.
We're seeing what that negotiation would look like right now.
Well, you know what will happen is like VR porn, and that's like a step closer. But if you get to a holodeck, I think that you would have holodeck porn, which is like programs of porn stars that are built to have sex with you on the holodeck. Like. You have sex with porn stars like Jenna Jameson or someone,
It would be like talking sex dolls is what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's such an interesting. And then there's the topic you were talking about, like, what about for people? Like, I think it could have an effect on sex crimes in a positive way, though. Like, for people that aren't getting laid.
Yeah.
And want to be getting laid and maybe are aggressive or whatever, like. Not that I think people should be living out. Oh wow, this is really deep. But like, you know, I think that if they could, not like people other than like people living out, you know, race fantasies. Like I don't know, but like, I don't know. I do think there's that like aggression that some people have that's unfortunate.
Like suppose you were about to experience
rejected.
Pon Far and you were going to be a danger to your crew.
Right.
You would need to get it out.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, I don't know. Oh my god, or what about having, what about a hologram threesome? Like you and another real person and then a fake person.
Yeah.
Like that's
I'm
kind
in.
of interesting.
What
That
about
sounds
somebody
great.
on subspace remoting in to control the hologram
Oh yeah, like Andy's in New York right now. Like Andy, what if we could meet in VR and have like VR sex?
You will soon.
Wow. I mean, I'm down. I think that sounds great.
That will happen. That's in your lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a whole can of worms that I think our culture will have to wrestle with in our lifetimes. In a way,
right.
like not exactly holodecks, but with like the whole VR stuff. If anyone sees the camera shaking, it's because Doug is setting up a little diorama of action figures over here, which I really think you should post on our Instagram.
I'm just getting to the elevator, so I'm gonna leave you guys, but I will tune in via the chat.
Okay, awesome. We'll see you there. Thank you for calling in, accidentally.
Of course. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Okay, wow. So yeah, Zek is fucking some holograms.
That's
basically, long story short. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's Jordy and Picard. What's up, James?
The ultimate. Yeah, I feel like I missed a lot of chat.
Oh yeah, Hollow three-way. Does she know they can become self-aware? Yeah, you got to make sure your girlfriend knows that. Italki would take the hologram of Troy that Barkley made. Yeah, I mean, if a hologram is like,
Voyager
is it the Troy that Barkley had sex with?
Voyager starts to try to address some of these issues around sentience and holograms.
Good to see you, James. Welcome, dude. Yeah, they do with the Doctor, and I love that stuff. I think that it's super interesting.
It's really funny to watch the Data stuff now, where they're like, "Is Data a thing or a machine?" It's like, oh my god, the fact that they do a whole episode and it's this whole like, let's have this is redonkulous given the Star Trek universe that it's not 100%. Settled. Like they let him go.
Totally.
They let him go to fucking space college.
Yes.
And now they're like, but maybe not. Why would they put him in charge?
Yeah.
They let him on a starship where he gets to be the acting captain all the time.
That is so true. And that episode, Measure of a Man, it's a great episode, but the premise is flawed because the idea that he could even be considered for a second that Data was the property of Starfleet
and then
goes against everything that Starfleet believes. Like, I can't believe for a second that they think that, you know?
And let's say they're going to. So they're going to have a legal decision. It's so monumental. What they do is they just pick two people who happen to be right there while the decision needs to happen to be the prosecutor and the defendant. And the lawyers. They don't bring in space lawyers from other stations. They don't have any kind of thing. They're just like, let's figure it out right here in the field with these people.
Yeah, it makes very little sense. But it's such a good episode that I forgive it. I mean, to me, like, the point of Star Trek is to tell stories like that, and sometimes they get the wrapping wrong. Like, they're trying to tell you a story about something, and they put it inside of something that makes no sense. But the thing inside is what's really important. Yeah, exactly like Discovery. And the thing inside Discovery is like a ball of ash. But yeah, this episode, it's an interesting example of one where that's not the focus. Like, the focus is kind of showing you, like, these Ferengi are kind of despicable, because to me it all wraps up with Quark not being mad that his brother just tried to kill him. Yeah. If anything, he's like, happy. I'm proud of you. Like, you finally took some initiative. You finally tried to grab profit on your own, even if it meant killing me. And I'm proud of you.
That Rom does truly understand the first rule of acquisition.
Which was
never put profit before
family. Wasn't that rule 6?
Never put family before profit.
Yeah.
No, it's rule 1.
Was it rule 1? I think wasn't rule 1 once you have someone's profit, you never give it back.
Yes.
And this is man, thank you for bringing that up. This is the debut of the rules of acquisition.
Yeah.
Which I think that we should make a chart and track it when they say like a rule and a number and just see if they fuck up.
No, so that you can go online now and Google it and find it.
That's true. Let's just do that.
But I do want to do it ourselves as we go through.
Okay, let's do it ourselves.
But I'm just saying, if someone wants the list, it's out there.
Yeah, well,
my understanding is there's a couple mistakes, but it's so interesting because this is how you get into canon arguments, because the lawyer defending the discrepancies would say, yeah, but just because someone says the rule of acquisition X doesn't mean they're right. They could be making a joke that, they could be...
that's their headcanon.
They could be misquoting it. And it's not even... I mean, it's an easy, obvious thing.
Yeah.
Like the guy that popped in, Phil, supposedly claiming to be
Phil.
the bendable unicorn.
Yeah,
What was-
sinkable unicorn.
Sinkable unicorn. We don't know that. That could be anyone, but we're willing to accept it.
Yeah, sinkable unicorn's a name I recognize. What if this is an imposter? What if
Right.
this Phil person is like
I
knows
know-
sinkable unicorn? It's
Right.
like I'm gonna fuck up sinkable unicorn's reputation by pretending to be him.
Somebody comes
I
in
would
and they
have no
see
idea.
Amanda's not here, and they just come with a different name.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm Amanda, by the way.
Yeah, or the rules of acquisition thing would be like me saying, you know, Article 3 of the Declaration of Independence.
Right.
Never fuck a hologram when you can fuck a real person. Like that's obviously
Yeah,
not
yeah.
real, and maybe to the Ferengi it's obviously not real. But we're like, oh wow, rule of acquisition number 3.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, I do want to do that. And there was 2. They do the 1st and the 6th, which is
I think those two. Yeah. So what do you think about Rom being? I mean, obviously Zek's son is the one trying to kill Quark, obviously, but it is
Yeah.
kind of a surprise that Rom is also in on it,
he
trying
gets
to kill Quark.
really like. he
Yeah.
gets really impassioned by it.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Quark pushes him, and Rom's been drinking, and you know when Rom gets a good head of Beetlejuice going,
Beetlejuice.
he just he's like a mean, angry drunk who's been bullied by his, I'm gonna say, younger brother, which makes it worse.
Oh, you think Quark is younger?
Yeah.
That's interesting. In my memory, Quark is older, but I love it if he's younger.
Yeah, it could. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, he's just the Ferengi that just wasn't as Ferengi as his little brother is.
Right. And so he's been catching it from all sides. So he tries to do what he thinks he's supposed to do as a Ferengi, and he's terrible at it. It makes him miserable, and that's why he hits the juice a little too hard.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I really like it. It doesn't track with the Rom that we get to know later on in the series.
Comrade Rom?
Like, when you watch the whole series for the first time and come back and rewatch this, you're like, wait, Rom tried to kill Quark? What? It just doesn't make sense. But I love it. I love it as, like, it's just a way of showing you that family is different in other places in the galaxy. Like, the whole episode is just about, like, this culture is just fucking weird. You know?
That's the essence of this episode.
Yeah,
I'm still torn about it because it's weird. Like, I feel the episode is boring,
really.
but I still do kind of enjoy it. It's like nothing happens. Again, it's a play. It's boring in the way that plays are boring. Like The King's Speech is a great movie, but it feels like it takes 4 years to watch it. It is just oh, okay, I get it.
I was so entertained by this episode. It never occurred to me to think that this was boring.
It's only when the Ferengis are hamming it up that it was like, oh, this is a delight to see, you know.
I like the whole thing. I really like the B plot with Jake. Did you see Cisco mention taking Jake to see the fire caves? He called them fire caverns. They're planting this shit early. Like, that's going to be a massive thing.
That's just like a throwaway, and then later on they use it. But I love to imagine an alternate universe where Jake and Cisco were just possessed by Parates this early in, you know. Because that's like probably one of the most dangerous places he could take his son.
Yeah, and I keep thinking about Cisco's anger issues because it keeps coming up. Like, his anger at his son is palpable, and he keeps, like, slamming walls and shit. Did he do that in this episode? I don't remember.
I don't think he hit anything.
But you can feel his anger.
He's frustrated.
Yeah, and I feel like he commands out of a place of anger.
Yeah.
It's interesting. He seems to be not as good at command as Picard, for sure. And I think that
it's a different style. I mean,
it is a different style, and for me, it's not preferable. So that's interesting. I never really thought about that. I always just kind of thought of him as being a great commander, but...
I think an argument can be made that it's a different style of command that's needed for the location, and that Cisco is suited for that style of command. That's not the way they teach it at the Academy, is it? Style of command.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It's more like outlaw... Like, how do you keep control in an outlaw scenario?
Right, frontier command. That's also a Bajoran... property. It's a Bajoran, you know, governmental control.
Yeah, and I think that Odo is actually the best at doing that, and I think that Cisco could learn a little bit from Odo, because Odo doesn't get angry. He gets, like, more suspicious.
Yeah, but this is where, like I said, Odo would lock up literally everybody that walked onto the station if they would let him, you know?
Yeah, but we'll talk more about Odo in the next episode, for sure. Like, when Odo has to do the right thing, he always does. When Cisco goes off on someone, it's great. Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, it's very entertaining. For sure.
Sorry, I'm reading chat.
Do it.
Yeah, Voyager holograms. Yeah, all right. I read it, I don't say anything, I just wanted to see
what people
people
read it. That's fair. Yeah, we kind of moved on. Yeah. Are there any other... I feel like there's always details in these episodes that I forget that I always want to point out because they're so interesting.
The Bajoran system has 14 planets.
Oh.
We learned that here.
Good one. I didn't see that.
Bajor is the largest planet, and it has 3 moons.
Oh, when they're in class.
That's what...
I wasn't listening.
That's what Jake is teaching Nog. Or that's not what he's teaching, but that's what they're reading from.
How crazy is it that Chief O'Brien is the substitute teacher? Like, the operations chief of the entire space station is teaching this class just because it's his wife's class. There's no other reason he's teaching it.
This is also...
He's a very busy dude.
This is a super Star Trek move, and it's a super DS9 move. You'll see it more in the future where it's like, oh, we need to go to this, through the wormhole, go to this planet and do something. Oh, no, why don't you go do it?
Right.
No!
Wait, that's the next episode.
This one sort of makes sense. It's like, you're the sheriff. Why don't you go drag the criminal back to the planet?
I was totally thinking that.
No, if you assholes want him, come get him.
Right, totally.
But anyways,
or send like a low-ranking security officer. Don't send the chief of security.
Vortex
into this dangerous
Let's
vortex.
Get into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a Star Trek thing where it's like the ensemble. They just tend to use them for anything.
Right.
You know, they could have just as easily had Dax teach. You know, but they, for whatever reason, have O'Brien do it.
And then O'Brien knows that Nog is lying about Vulcans stealing his homework. But then when Jake says it's true, he drops it. And it doesn't make sense to me.
It does, because it's the boss's son.
It's the boss's son. Yeah, I guess that's the only thing that makes sense. And he does tell Cisco later, like, I keep an eye on that, on who your kid is hanging out with. Which is, you know, which is fun.
Ate my homework.
Yeah.
Why? Because you lost a pad, and apparently nobody has cloud backup notes in the 24th century.
Yeah, Nog and Jake both have giant stacks of pads.
Yeah.
When in reality, they all have all the information they need on them because we know that is how it will work because it works that way already. Yeah. But like Deep Space Nine was made just before the iPad.
Yeah.
And like just before like cloud saves, and they just couldn't quite imagine that one pad could have all the info. It's weird blind spot. And it's not in Next Generation. Like in Next Generation, no one ever has more than one pad.
Yeah.
You know? It's just this show, they just walk around with like a whole bunch of pads. Yeah, John says you need a pad for everything you want to read. It's so funny. Like when Jake is writing later in a pad, he like has a stylus. And like you gotta save that pad because that's where your writings are. But like it's obvious that you can already access the whole computer system from any console, and it seems obvious to me that you can access the computer system from any pad, but then all of a sudden they do this weird thing.
But that said, in the original series...
What does it say?
Is it backwards?
I can't read the text. It might be blowing out. When you have multiple advanced degrees but can only get a job printing emails for the captain.
Because he's just
handing him a piece of paper.
Yeah, and then the old one, they would have these giant blocks with paper in it that they would like, you know, in the original series. Because it's like doing stuff on a ship. Sign this thing. Signing things in and out. There's like so much paperwork in the original series, which means if you see it 3 times, that's far too much paperwork for a spaceship.
Yeah, watching the original series completely shatters the Star Trek continuity. It just doesn't work anymore.
It's a perfect thing to set you up to appreciate Discovery, because it like blow up your Star Trek expectations, clear the slate, be prepared to accept anything as Star Trek.
Next Generation Forward makes an attempt to maintain a continuity. I feel like that's the least Discovery could have done. You know?
Or does it?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Well, should we rate this episode?
Yeah.
I always forget to pull this shit up, so hold on. Let's see.
We dragged this one out way long.
Well, we talked more about fucking holograms than about this episode.
And yeah, fucking holograms and Discovery.
Oh, wait, wrong account. Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty much all we ever talk about. Let's be honest.
People still love us.
I love doing this because it's like hanging out and talking about Star Trek with more people than I could fit in my room. Yeah. You know? Mm-hmm. It's so great. Okay. Paste.
Boom.
Okay, let's see. Season 1, episode...
10.
The
Nagus.
The Nagus. Okay, so we got to give it a rating. Oh, I got to get a poll up, too. I forgot everything today. I was not prepared today. We were late because of me today. And Vortex. How much do you love this spreadsheet?
It's pretty sexy.
I love it. I'm excited to get to the end of the season because we can, like...
start doing some pie charts.
We can fucking graph some shit.
Graphs.
Okay, and then straw poll I'm so sorry the camera shakes every time I type.
Yeah.
Rating 1 to 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I missed 6.
I'm trying to see if I can shake it in time.
7, 8, 9. You're trying to like get rid of the shake by shaking at the exact time.
Torpedoes!
Okay. And then we go back to here. All right, you guys, here is your poll. We're voting 1 to 10. What do you rate the Nagus? Doug, start with you.
Pass.
No.
Let me think about it.
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
The Nagus. I love this episode. I feel like it's such a strong episode. It feels to me like so strong that it could have been an episode in later seasons.
Sure, yeah.
I don't see what you're saying about it being boring. I'm super entertained by it. I love all of the other Ferengi. They all have like really different personalities and really strong performances from everybody. I love the side plot. I almost rolled a tear when Nog was learning to read.
It's pretty good.
I mean, I honestly, like, what would I bring this down for? The things that hold, for me, the plot with the Nagus's explanation at the end is not satisfactory.
Right. Again, he's a loony person.
Right.
This is why he came up with a bad plan.
Like, when you look at it
It's
that
not
way.
the last
Hey, Andy.
bad plan that Zach comes to the table with.
Welcome, Andy, in the chat instead of on the phone. I feel like just writing-wise, I needed a little bit more as to why Zach was faking his own death and
Sure.
doing this whole thing.
Yeah.
That kind of fell apart for me, but just a little bit. I mean, fuck, it's so good. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Ooh, solid.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think this episode is a 6 through and through.
Wow.
But I'm gonna give it.
Oh.
I'm gonna give it a 7
Whoa.
solely because of Wallace Shawn.
Ah.
Because it's and I guess half for Wallace Shawn and half for just having the balls to go, you know what? Straight up comedy now. You
Yeah,
know?
I love that too.
I do like that kind of a bold decision.
Yeah. Andy, make sure you vote in the straw poll. All right, has everyone voted? We're gonna go check. View results. Okay. We got some 5s and some 7s. Doug and I are both. Well, Doug, you did 7, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I did 6, but I
But you bumped it up.
bumped it, so 5.6.
Oh, wait. We have an 8 also. Nice. Oh, and okay, we got a couple more votes. They just came in. Okay, let's do the math here. We got some 5s, some 7s, and an 8. And the average score is...
Wait, how many? Okay. 6.4.
6.4. Nice. All right. I think you're all way low, but what are you gonna do? Whoever voted an 8, I think that was Andy because she's right.
She dragged it out. Well, that's fair.
Okay, and then nominations for what's next? Best
Character?
favorite character. Yeah, favorite character in this episode.
So, Quark. Oh, you're doing this thing there. Quark.
Rom,
Zek,
Nog,
Nog,
Zek,
Jake.
Jake.
Cisco. He's got some stuff
Cisco.
going on the subplot.
What about Lee Ehrenberg's commanding Ferengi?
Oh, yeah. That's the beefy Ferengi.
A beefy Ferengi, that's better.
And then Zek Jr.
Zek Jr. I think that's good.
That's a pretty good
Anyone
list.
else nominated for favorite character? Jake. Okay, we got Jake. Great. Create poll.
Boom.
Okay. There's your poll, my friends. All right,
Go.
go.
My favorite character is the beefy Ferengi.
The beefy Ferengi?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I just really... It's the first time they've shown a Ferengi also who looked like he worked out.
Yeah.
Normally Ferengis have been shown as like little weaselly things. And even the ones that they had in TNG with the electro whips.
Right. Are pretty shrimpy. That's how Ferengi and Guinan fight.
Space magic! So this
so
just
BB
showed
Ferengi.
somebody who was like, and they also normally show the Ferengi as being like wily and or manipulative, you know, that kind of negative qualities. This to me was the first like, oh no, there's like straight up physical bullies, and I thought that, and it's a small part, but I thought that he did the character delighted me to have as that highlight opposite from what they've shown of Ferengi's, not opposite, but tangential to what they've been doing with Ferengi's already.
Yeah, I dig that a lot. I really, it's so interesting when a small character comes in.
Yes.
One-off small character that just kind of like steals the show.
Yep.
Because he's so compelling. But yeah, for favorite character, who would I go with? I feel like Quark is in there for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Because this is such a great Quark episode. You learn a lot about him, and you kind of see something about him, like being so willing to forgive his brother for trying to kill him. Yeah. And being proud of him in a way for trying to take initiative.
Quark is a true believer in the rules of acquisition.
Right.
And there are some, I think, it's a difficult thing to follow the rules of acquisition because you would have to fuck over your family, and they show that Ferengi aren't like preternaturally emotionless. They actually have attachments and feelings. So it is showing like, oh, your belief system requires you to go against like familial instincts.
Yeah.
So I do think that's interesting because Quark is someone that has to ride that balance between things.
Yeah, you've helped me decide. I'm going Quark for favorite character for this episode. And let's see what chat says. Jake.
Wow.
Jake is the winner in this episode. I think that's a solid choice.
Because chat is made of Star Trek fans.
You know what?
Who appreciate the heartfelt
You make me feel wrong, but I'm going to stick with my Quark. Okay, now best performance.
May I quote Beefy Ferengi?
Beefy Ferengi.
Wallace Shawn.
Oh yeah, well let's see. Zek, Cisco.
Oh right, we do characters.
Just because I think it's easier for chat. Jake. I think Nog's got to be in there. He's so good always.
Ferengi Jr. I mean, Zek Jr.
Zek Jr., do you think best performance? I feel like he didn't stand out enough to get a nomination. Like, he was fine.
He didn't. It's not even an honor to get nominated.
Quark, I got to put in there.
Yeah.
Anyone else we want to nominate for best performance? We got Wallace Shawn in there. I think that's good.
Yeah. We'll take last minute right.
Oh, Andy, yeah, that's super true. You love seeing the power dynamic and father-son dynamic in the same alien species.
Oh, yeah,
yes, agreed. Okay,
and they dovetail into each other.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And also, like, that friend relationship between two species is so special.
Yeah.
Two species that shouldn't hang out together. Yeah, I mean, it reminded me of, like, friendships that I had as a kid that, like, I felt like something, like, friend-wise towards a person who, like, I could tell was friends with me.
Influence on?
Who was, like, from a different, like, from a family that people considered to be dangerous because they were from the Middle East, you know?
Just making you the bad guy in your story.
And I, like, wanted to be friends with this person, like, didn't give a shit what other people said, and knew that this was a good person. And it just reminds me of this situation where, like, Jake knows that Nog is his friend and, like, is a good person, and it doesn't matter to him what his dad says.
Right.
His dad knows that he'll lose if he tries to make them choose between them.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Okay, Doug, best performance. You're going Beefy Ferengi.
The Grand Nagus!
The Grand Nagus! You're going with Wallace Shawn, okay. That surprises me.
Now, Wallace Shawn is a national treasure.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful that he continued the character. Like, I could have seen this have been like a one-off and done guest star thing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he either liked the character and or needed the work and was available.
Yeah. Okay, for me, I totally agree that Wallace Shawn is a national treasure, but much like Harrison Ford, I don't feel like he's performing that much, except, like, I think this is easy for him. I
Absolutely.
think he's just, like, perfect for this part.
Yes.
I don't think that this was, like, work for him. I think it was just play and fun.
You can't judge someone because it's not Superman's fault that we have a yellow sun. That's what makes him Superman. It's not Wallace Shawn's fault that doing Zek is a easy breezy walk through the park because he's a goddamn Superman.
I agree that it's not his fault, and I agree that his performance is wonderful. But for my
still grading on a scale.
For my scale, I feel like for best performance in this episode, I can't give it to Zek because because it's just like he's expectedly wonderful, you know?
Sure.
But there is an unexpectedly wonderful performance in this episode that is so under the radar and just so good.
Okay.
And it is the beefy Ferengi. It is Lee Ehrenberg.
Okay. Yeah.
He's such a great actor.
Yes.
Yeah, that I have to give him that award for this episode.
That's fair.
Okay, best performance.
I'll take it.
Viewing results.
I was ready to.
Oh, Quark. Wow.
Ooh.
Beefy Ferengi and Zach both got votes, but Quark took it. That surprises me.
Nice.
And honestly, I think he did a fantastic job. I read a thing in Memory Alpha where the actor Armin Shipperman was saying that this was his first episode to like really carry.
Yes.
And it scared him.
Yeah.
And they kind of like switch off different episodes, like who carries what.
Right.
And this one was like really hard for him, and I think he nailed it. I think he knocked it out of the park. And I think that's a very good vote, Chad. What's up, Austin?
He had to make choices, and I think that they worked out real well. When he is the Grand Nagus and he's he's very flowery about it. He's really like he's like cosplaying as Grand Nagus.
Yes.
It's interesting because Armin Shimmerman as an actor is playing a character Quark who is playing at being Grand Nagus. You know?
That's such a good point. It is such a good performance. Yeah. And I love... you're almost making me switch, but I'm going to stick with what I got. I love the fact that, like, becoming Grand Nagus means immediately you put on airs and are, like, the biggest, best thing that's ever happened.
Well, no. For Quark it is. When
That's true.
Rom becomes Grand Nagus, he's super chill about it.
And I think for Zek it probably was, too.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Kodo becomes Emperor. Spoiler alert. Which is another DS9 parallel to Babylon 5, right? As you have, like, the sort of unexpected bumbly boob, almost borderline comic relief, become the leader of their people. Vir Kodo becomes Emperor, Rob becomes the Grand Nagus.
You're so right. You're so right.
They even have, Londo, but for a longer time has it, and then here you have Quark have it for a short period of time.
Yeah.
So you have there's a rhyming of
so
them.
Fucking similar. But I think that Deep Space Nine is a very instinctually told story.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm going to say that a lot on Doug Space Nine because there's so many times where stories don't quite make sense if you think about them at all, but like emotionally they work, and that to me feels like instinctually they work. Like it's instinctual storytelling.
Well, hold on. This one guy I know called us handsome devils.
I saw that. It was very, very.
I didn't see that.
That's Austin. He's a good dude.
I'm so
Austin's
negligent about chat.
That Austin's the one who calls me Stoner Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, nice. That fits.
It does fit because we're gonna go take a break soon and smoke more weed.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Man.
Ham sandwich popcorn, nice.
I feel like we covered the fuck out of the Nagus and a lot of other things that we shouldn't have been talking about.
This guy's got a lot of good opinions about food.
Yep. I'm hungry. Okay, let's take a break.
Okay.
We got a smoker and a stoner here, so
And
they're very different things. So we'll be right back, you guys. Here is my schedule this week, and our new member badges. You can see them over here, right there. So tomorrow is Mario Maker Blind Kaizo race, and that's going to be at around 5 or 6 p.m. Pacific time. And then Sunday's our private stream for the sponsors and patrons and all that. Thank you so much to Amanda, the newest patron. $1 a month is all it takes to be invited to that special stream. I really appreciate that. And we will be back in just a few minutes, my friends. Don't go anywhere. This is so strange. I'm like in the house, talking to Doug in the chat, on a live show that neither of us are on, with neither of us on camera. Well, he's outside smoking. I'm here with Miles. I'm just gonna do the show with Miles from now on. You're out, Doug. Miles is in. Miles, what do you think of Vortex? Miles? Miles, what do you think? What do you think of Vortex? I know you watched it with me. Miles? He was so chatty about this earlier. I don't know. He doesn't want to talk right now. Welcome to the future. Dabo! So from now on, if you type in Command Dabo, it'll actually work. He slept through a lot of it. Yeah, for sure. That command makes me very happy. Good boy. We gotta make all of Doug's fake commands real commands. Oh, look at this cutie. Look at this cutie. Getting a face scratch. Doug smokes American Spirits, which take forever. They are the longest cigarette to smoke, but that's okay. Look at Miles. Let's make you look at my dog instead. What do you think? You want to sit on the floor? Good boy. Oh, he's so old. It's so crazy. It's terrifying. I don't know if anyone's ever had an old dog before, but it's very frightening. Vortex was the episode about Bajoran extradition law. You know, it really kind of is, and it's so good. It's like so interesting. It's interesting to me that like different sci-fi things try to make like extradition and politics and stuff like that interesting with varying degrees of success. Like the prequels is the best example of something where like the Trade Federation and all of the like the blockade and all that was just so not interesting. But in episodes like this, like whether or not this guy gets returned to his planet is a big deal. And the episode is really interesting and has like an emotional core that I care about. So fuck you, prequels. Basically what I'm trying to get to is fuck the prequels. Did I cut my hair? I did cut my hair. Yeah. Every once in a while. I have been cutting my own hair for a while. It's not something that I necessarily prefer to do. Like when Andy's around, I have her do it for me. Like cutting my hair is more of like a grooming situation than a haircut, because I just like, well, let's just make the sides short and keep the top long. And every once in a while, I'll like trim the top a little bit. But long story short, you shouldn't have to cut your own hair. You should get someone else to cut your hair. It's a thing that is like very frustrating to do to yourself, and when you fuck up, it's your fault. Yeah. Kids love space law. I don't think that's true.
That's why they did that for the Star Wars prequels. You're like, you know what? What do today's youth really want out of a sci-fi space opera adventure?
Space law.
Space law.
Totally. Oh, wow, James, you had a 17-year-old Dalmatian. That's amazing. I mean, having a dog that old means he did, like, a really good job.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
Successful dog parenting.
But it's hard to see, like, this dog that you've had since a puppy, who used to be, like, super spry and jump all over the place. Just, like, so tired and old. Mm-hmm. It's hard.
Bum, 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 bum. Oh, no, thank you. Appreciate that. Doug Space Nine.
That's an awkward transition to make.
Season 1, Episode 11. Vortex.
The Vortex.
Which is starts off about a space egg.
Mm-hmm.
A Fabergé, space Fabergé egg. That Quark had the midichlorians. No, that's still thinking about Star Wars. Midorans?
Miradorns.
Miradorns.
Great name for an alien species.
Honestly, if you said, oh my god, the Miradorns are here, I'm picturing something the size of a shuttlecraft with either one giant rhinoceros horn on it or like spikes all over it. Like, oh, the Miradorn's tearing apart the cargo bay.
Like covered in hair, right? Like really
sure,
furry.
yeah, thick furry hair.
Yeah.
Miradorns! But instead, it's a very interestingly, like, you just get surface hints at a real deep thing of the twin species.
Yeah. Yeah, where if they have twins, it's like two halves of one person.
The best half
in two
of
bodies.
my life.
Yeah. So like when this guy's twin is killed by, what's the main character's name? The guest star?
Ted. Barry.
Corbin.
Corwin. He just looked like...
What is his name?
Just a nothing.
We have so much to talk about.
Just like, who's this dirty-faced alien?
Do you remember in TNG where there's that guy that could... that they kept trying to lock up, who kept getting out, and James Cromwell was upset about it?
Oh, no, I don't.
It looked like him to me. I kept thinking it was the same character. Okay, so I'm going to have to pull this up on Memory Alpha, because it's going to drive me crazy if I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
I think I have it open already. I do.
So Quark has set up to purchase this space Fabergé egg from the twinned Miradorns, and then Gary bursts in with a phaser and all twitchy and nervous is like, give me the thing and no one will get hurt. And then there's a fight and someone gets hurt. The Miradorn's bonded partner dies, and then Odo comes in and...
Croden. Let's go with Ted, though. I think that he is a Ted. Let's call him Ted, because it's going to be easier to remember. This is now Ted.
To me, he laughably sticks out like a sore thumb at the beginning of the episode of like, what's up with that guy over there? And they cut to someone who is like, did you put your costume on in the car on the way to the set? He just looks like just some dude.
I will grant you that costume does not fit his body very well. Right. I will grant you that. But I love Ted. And I love this character so much. Like, I have this unique response to Star Trek guest stars where when I see them for a second, I'm like, God, I don't remember your story, but I feel like I want to cry just seeing your face. And it happened to me with Ted because I was like, fuck, I don't remember this one. But man, as soon as I saw him, I had like this emotional response.
Right.
It reminds me of being a kid and like watching Next Generation and like seeing Hugh, and I just have this like crazy emotional response. Yeah. You know, like not even remembering like what happened in that situation. Of course, I remember now because I've watched it like dozens of times.
The anger people feel when they first see Neelix's face on screen again,
or the incredible discomfort I feel whenever anyone mentions Tuvix. But Ted, like Croden, I'm like, oh my God, I don't remember this episode, but like I remember feeling intensely connected to this character, and I just fucking love this episode. Yes. I love this episode. The whole emotional beat at the end with Croden's daughter. I'm gonna call him Croden. Fuck it. I'm trying to call him Ted, but I like him
because you like it too much.
I like him too much.
I'm gonna keep calling him
the whole fact that this whole thing, Space Gary, revolves around him trying to get his daughter and being a master manipulator, just trying to manipulate Odo to bring him to his daughter, and then deciding to save Odo's life at the very end. It really got me, and it gets me every time I watch it. I watched both of these twice before this episode today, just because I find I'm better prepared, and I really enjoy the fucking show, and I want to watch it twice, because like I can't binge this because I can't watch next week's episodes, so I end up just watching them twice, and it's just like really fucking good. Like it just has a great story and this amazing bond, and on top of that, like this bond between Odo and Ted, which I'm gonna be fluid with what I call this person. Their bond is just so palpable by the end, like this, not bond, but mutual respect that they have earned for each other. Yeah. This like recognition of something being common between them, which Ted is lying about the whole time, dissembling about, when in fact becomes real by the end. And on top of that, what really brings this episode like over the top for me is Odo's realization that someone else has seen a changeling before, and putting a word to his species.
You mean Wesley Crusher and the crew of the Enterprise?
With the Elastomorph, different species. They shatter when they're thrown against walls, which we need to talk about now. But yeah, I just have to like give it up to this episode for just like really providing me with an emotional experience that really felt valuable to me. Yeah. And plants one of, if not my favorite storyline of DS9, which is Odo trying to understand where he comes from. It's just like at the core of this show, and they finally put it in a way that's not awkward. Because even at the very beginning of this episode, when Quark is like, that's why we've never seen any change or any shapeshifters
like
before.
you're always saying.
Because you're all paranoid, you know? Like, that's much better, what's the word?
Exposition?
Exposition, thank you, yeah. Than how they usually do it, where he's like, I'm coming with you, Commander, because I've never known what's in the Denorius belt. And,
yeah,
you
know, we know.
Yeah, they finally
Looking
kind of
for your
found
lost people.
a good way to do that in this episode.
Yeah.
And then really kind of take it to the next level of giving him a name to call his own species.
Yeah.
It'd be like growing up on another planet and not knowing you were from Earth and learning that you were called a human for the first time. Like, not even knowing where Earth is from, but someone saying, oh, I've met a human before. You're like, I'm a human?
Right.
That's what I'm called? Like, what a cool idea for a story.
I can see
Sorry,
that.
I got off on a tangent there.
No, that's...
I love this episode.
a tangent within the episode, so...
Yes, which is so rare for us. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm like, yeah, it's a tangent within the episode.
Yeah. Can we talk about the elephant in the room?
Which one? The shape-shifting powers?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Well, Andy says, I don't understand what Ted's motivation was for trying to steal the egg. That is a massive problem in the plot of this episode.
No. It's the essence of the plot of the episode.
Tell me.
Quark,
Fix this for me. I need it.
Oh, yeah, it's explicit. Quark hired Gary to burst in and steal the egg from the Miradons, and then Quark arranged the shuttle for Gary to go back through the wormhole. He was going to get the egg, probably give him some money, and then that dude was going to take the money and go save his daughter or whatever. And then Quark wasn't going to get in trouble for the receiving of the stolen goods for the Miradorn, because it would have been, hey, I don't know who this asshole is. He just came in. They even have Rom tip it off in the beginning,
right?
Where Rom is like, "Are you accusing Quark of setting this whole thing up?" And Quark is like, let's not get hasty about this,
right?
Because it wasn't supposed to be a murder. Right. It was just supposed to be a snatch and grab.
You were fixing this for me right now. Keep going.
That's basically it. That's why Odo keeps saying, like, but you said you got to know this guy, and why is he giving you these funny looks?
You just raised my rating for this episode.
And it's why Gary bursts in with the phaser, and he's like, I guess give me the space egg, you guys, because I gotta shoot the thing. But then the Miradons are just apparently, like, they make it sound like they're a very aggressive species. So they flip out. I can't remember what had happened, but because I was too distracted by Odo being a fucking glass. So, but something happens, and then there's the attack, and then he kills the twin partner.
You're 100% right, and that is in the episode, I missed it.
Yeah.
Because I thought, like, I knew that, like, Quark had set up this other guy stealing the egg, Ted,
right?
Gary Croden. That's his full name. It's Ted Gary Croden.
Ted Gary Croden. Esquire.
Ted Ross Croden is his full name.
Renowned egg thief throughout the Gamma Quadrants. Do you need a Fabergé space egg stolen? Call me, Ted Gary Space Croden. Esquire. International jewel
Okay,
thief.
so I knew that Quark had set it up for him to steal the egg, but I had assumed it's because Croden wanted the egg, maybe to sell so he could buy passage.
Right.
Or something like that. But you're right that Quark wanted it for himself, and he talked to Croden, and the two of them are both the same type of people who talk to each other and just think, like, I need something. What does this person need?
Right.
That I can fill in for them. And they come up to this plan together, like, I need transport, you need this product.
Right.
You don't want to buy it, you just want me to come in and steal it and then give it to you, you'll get me transport. That is it. That is totally it. And I didn't fucking get that. But I think that this episode is, like, really well written, because all these, like, plot holes kind of tie up, and even when I didn't understand that, when I didn't quite get it, I still liked it, because I still felt like, well, he's just not giving us all the information, but you don't need it, because that's not what this story is about. But the fact that he is giving you the information, and I just didn't pick up on it because I'm not smart enough, makes me like it even more. I love that.
See,
I love that so much.
Obviously, I did have those pieces together, but it still makes me kind of blah on the whole episode overall.
It's blah on this episode.
I mean, like, it's fine, but it didn't...
I'm, like, waxing poetic about it over here.
It didn't grab me. I don't like the whole, oh, he's got a daughter, so that's proof that this guy's okay. Like, dude has 2 bodies on him so far.
I don't think that's the proof that he's okay. Him taking Odo with him is the proof that he's an okay guy. Like, he was going to leave Odo to die. He thought about it for a second and chose not to, because he recognized that Odo was a good person and decided to save him. Even though he doesn't give a shit. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't give a shit about anyone but his daughter. Like, it's very apparent. He'll lie and kill and cheat and do whatever it takes. He'll cut the necks of the people who killed his wives and not care about it. But he saved Odo's life. And for him to do that means that he has redeeming nature.
Right. I still am. It's an open question to me whether or not he's still like a good person or not. But he did save Odo. I will give him that.
Yeah.
He's lucky that changelings apparently don't turn into goo when they get knocked out.
Yeah, we gotta talk about this.
Maintain their current form, which
Yeah.
doesn't seem right.
So much about that opening sequence doesn't quite make sense as far as Odo's changeling abilities are concerned, because he's talking to Rom.
Yeah.
Quark asks Rom to bring in 4 glasses with, like, the whatever special drink he wants that's, like, code for secret business meeting or whatever. And then we're looking at Odo, and then the camera moves to Rom.
Right.
And then we see Odo again, looking at Rom put 4 glasses on this thing.
Right.
And then Rom picks up something and turns around and picks up a tray with 5 glasses.
Right.
And we've seen Odo transform many times.
Right.
It's slow, and it makes a google noise. You know?
Wait, what was that noise again?
We didn't hear.
What was
We didn't hear that noise. And it happened too fast.
We've learned that Odo can also transform stealthily.
Yeah, apparently that noise is just for the audience's benefit. It's not actually in-world, like the transporter noise. Is that noise in-world, or is it for the audience's benefit? Because there are times where people get transported and people don't hear it.
It's in-world. All of it's in-world.
Yeah.
The only thing that's not in-world is the music, like the scoring. You have to accept all sound effects as being in-world.
Okay, I think you're right. Yeah, he didn't realize the other glass appeared on the tray. Not only that, but like that glass got there faster than would have been physically possible for a changeling, in my opinion.
And it weighs as much as a glass, which is handy.
Right.
Even though later on, Space Croton Gary says something about like he's heavier than he looks in the same episode.
Right.
So Odo can shapeshift and make himself weigh less.
Yeah, and when he like punches the dude, he's just like, like knocks him down. One of the Miradorans after his brother had been killed.
Yeah.
Like, he just lays that guy flat on the ground when he's bent on vengeance. Odo is strong. Like, Odo is dense.
Yeah.
He added ranks to his shapeshift ability. Doug can back you up on that. Can you?
On what? That he added
ranks? Can you back her up?
I mean,
I'm testing this. I think it's
I don't know I don't know what she means. I don't want to say yes.
Do you mean he just like leveled up?
Leveled up, yeah.
Yeah. His shapeshifting ability leveled up. Then why can't he make a nose?
Well, his
eyebrows.
His shapeshifting powers are magical.
Yeah.
They just defy all logic or sense.
Right.
And it only gets worse when you get more shapeshifters involved.
And it only gets worse when you throw him against the wall and he shatters like grass.
Right.
And then recombines.
And it has a comm badge and then calls for security.
Right. 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 Okay, can we explain this?
No, it's magic.
When he's glass, I can explain this. The glass itself, did it have liquid in it?
No, it was empty.
The glass was empty. If they tried to pour liquid into the glass, it would have hit a glass-like surface and poured down the sides because the glass only looked like you could put stuff into it. It was like an optical illusion that Odo was creating with his body, and that glass is a solid thing, and inside is a communicator.
Okay, but it doesn't explain the weight or the shattering.
The shattering is a peculiarity of the changelings, which are very different from the elastomorphs, which you'll find in the Alpha Quadrant, who are also a shape-shifting species, but they cannot shatter and come back together.
We don't know that. We didn't know Odo could shatter till today.
Oh, I know that. I'm telling you that.
Isomorphs can only turn into fuzzy monsters.
Exactly. And old ladies and young girls. That's it. Yeah. Fuzzy monsters. If an elastomorph had to be a glass, it would be as large as Wesley Crusher.
That old lady, though...
That's how they made love, is Wesley got into her as a glass.
Oh...
This is a weird thing to do with your time, but I really like it.
That old lady, though, is 100% the attitude of a founder. Like, she really has that.
Oh, yeah, the elastomorph?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
They're as related to each other as Trelane is related to Q, which is 100% related.
Yeah.
They are of the same type.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. Are the Elastomorphs changelings? I really don't think so, because the whole premise of this show is that the changelings are, like, in the Gamma Quadrant, you know? And also, it looks different enough, and I know that they change effects and all that shit, but, like, it doesn't seem like the Elastomorphs become pools of goo. It seems like they just go from...
That we've seen.
Sure, that we've seen. But for me, that's enough to say, like, that they just... They don't have control of density and matter the way that Odo does. Like, I mean, you know, it is actually conceivable that Odo is becoming super dense as a liquid. It is conceivable that, like, his density is so small as a liquid versus, like, when he's a man and he's just, like, pretty dense.
But how can he weigh a different amount? How can he weigh as much as how can Rom...
Dude, I don't know how science works.
Neither do the people behind this show. Unless here's one thing you can envision, is there's a glass on the table, and then there's like the rest of Odo as something else, like stealthily sneaking into the room. You know? It's just...
There's just a dog following Rom.
Rom's like, whatever.
No, I'm into this. I'm into this theory, actually.
Oh, speaking of dogs...
Because that makes sense that if he'd shatter, then he'd reconstitute with the rest of the dog that was off camera.
I have to go back
Or just like a little couch that follows him.
Yeah, just walking. It's a plant thing that just like moves and stops, and Rom keeps looking.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when he's ready to change, it goes...
Okay, I have to do a side thing back to the Nagus.
Okay.
I did not talk about this at all, but while Quark is in full Nagus mode, he is petting a weird stick-like bug creature with a long nose.
Hand puppet.
Which is his super puppet. Yeah.
I love it, yeah.
And then just, like, sets it down on his desk, and it is very delightful, because they make, like, all things about the Ferengi seem to be, like, creepy-crawly, you know, it's, like, swampy. That's it rains a lot, it's wet. They eat bugs, they eat grubs, there's beetles, and then their pet that they have is this, like, living stick thing.
Yeah, it's a giant stick bug. I love that.
But it's also such a, like, James Bondian, you know, like...
Yeah, I actually read that they were trying to remake The Godfather with the Nagus.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen The Godfather, so I didn't pick up on that.
It really shows.
You blocked that out. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
They also show a thing in either this one or the last one that I had never noticed in Deep Space Nine, but there's a giant skeleton of some sort of creature.
I noticed that!
In the promenade.
I
was like, how did I never see this?
I forgot about this. I was going to screen cap that to show you, because I'm like, Doug, there's a fucking whale.
It's a monster.
There's like a giant monster whale hanging from the ceiling as if you're in the Natural History Museum on the promenade of Deep Space Nine.
So explicitly,
I have never noticed it.
It's like foreshadowing. You're like, oh, that thing is going to come to life at some point in time, because they've focused on it.
You remember the first Fabergé egg in this series where that space whale went out? I'll bet they killed it, and that's the bones of that space whale. Yeah, you guys look for that on the promenade. It's not new. It's always been there. I just never saw it before.
Yeah, it's
like my mind is like I recognize that pattern in the background. That's a giant carcass bones. Like I recognized it in a weird way, but I didn't even know it was bones.
It's a Deep Space Nine Mandela moment.
That is so funny that you saw that. I'm so happy you saw that, because I totally noticed that also. Yeah, it's totally the Mandela effect. It's fucking Berenstain Bears all over again.
Deep Space Nine skeleton.
This is proof of a tear in the fabric of reality. All right, I'm fine.
I'm Googling Deep Space Nine skeleton on promenade. There it is.
That's not even what I saw.
Right, but that's a close up.
That's
of
its
face.
head.
Yeah.
Is there a shot of it from further away? No.
I should have screenshotted it. Yeah, because it's just like such. Oh, is that? No, that doesn't have it.
It's like up above the, like, if they're looking up.
This makes fascinating streaming. I'm sorry, you guys.
If they're like looking up to the second level of the promenade, it's like hanging in the ceiling, above the lower level. I'll have to find it and like screen cap it or something for next time, because it really blew my mind. Anyway, I love that the very first line of this episode is Quark asking Odo if he wants the usual. And he says, no, nothing. And he's like, the usual then. Yeah. Odo's usual is nothing. I enjoy that.
Because he doesn't eat or drink.
Right. Yeah, and it's not like Data, where Data doesn't need to eat or drink, but he chooses to just to have the experience. Like, Does Odo do that? I feel like he does later on. I'm not sure.
Oh, to pretend to eat or drink?
Yeah, do you remember that ever
He
happening?
does. We've talked about it before, and I can't wait to get to it. But he does the most ridiculous thing, even worse than this shapeshifting later on.
Yeah.
That's the one where he makes himself a cup of Roctagino that is himself,
Right.
and he drinks it.
Right. I remember that. But does he ever eat or drink like real food?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm distracted by Doug reading chat.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
No, it's good. Read chat.
So where are we with this?
We got nowhere basically. I mean, we got slammed up against the wall and shattered basically.
It's too much.
It's really jarring. Like it really takes you out of the episode.
We didn't do
It
the
really
mushroom
took me
ratings
out of
on
the
the last
episode.
one.
Oh,
that,
we didn't.
That would have
Yeah.
been like
a 0.
Yeah, or like a 3 just because it's like, well, the wormhole is there, you know, and they talk about that kind of stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, there's a Star Trek by default, but if you take all of Star Trek as baseline, yeah, 0. There's nothing crazy. This is a 10 because of Odo's shapeshifting is now. It was fine before, and now they were like, did you get used to the shapeshifting? Because we're gonna get fucking weird with it now.
What is the mycelial network on this rating system?
A 7 or 8.
So this basically we should call it the Changeling Shattering Glass, rating system because this is the rating. It is 10.
No, it's the mushroom scale.
Yeah.
It has no relation to the mycelial network. The mycelial network is ranked on the mushroom scale, but it is not the, the informing part of it. It's just because mushrooms make you get trippy and weird.
Okay, so we're talking like magic mushrooms as in drugs.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mushroom scale.
Yeah, that's fine.
And also it's a scale that's made up so you can just, you can queue it up and make it infinite if you want. You can,
Yeah, but
the mushroom scale is really...
If you were to eat magic mushrooms from the mycelial network, can you imagine?
You turn into a tardigrade.
I think that's how you turn into a Q. I think that's how the Q became Q. Yeah, so I love the Mirador, and I love the idea of this like paired species where when they have twins, it's like their soul is split into these two bodies.
Yeah.
And it's so fascinating to me that the one that survives is just like, I am going to kill Croden.
That's my
That's
goal.
my only goal for existence. He says that to Cisco and Odo, like the commander and chief of security for the place that he currently is.
And he parks his ship
and
there
walks away.
and is like, I'm going to wait to kill this guy.
Yeah.
Because it shows that Deep Space Nine is ineffective. And that I would argue that even the Federation and Starfleet in general is ineffective against any moderately powerful alien species that are determined to do what they want to do.
Right,
like
because of the Prime Directive, because they have to.
Because of the Prime Directive, is just because
their
technological limitations. Like they make it clear. Well, okay. First of all, the Federation, they couldn't just like, we're going to arrest this guy or we're going to blow up a ship or anything like that. They just have to let him sit in his ship because of their laws. But he's like, yeah, as soon as I get a chance, I'm going to go murder this asshole.
Right.
And you can't stop me with your ships.
Yeah, and like, what the fuck happened with Rom in the last episode, who tried to kill Quark, was caught red-handed and then did not go to jail?
Yeah,
like,
for attempted murder that
of a Ferengi.
that Odo like saw. There's no
right, totally. Like, what's the deal with that? That bothered me a little bit, actually.
Well, it just shows. Well, there's no in-universe solid explanation for it. It's the episodic, throw stuff away.
Right. Maybe I'll bet you that he is on probation
for attempted murder.
For attempted murder for like the next 3 seasons.
Okay, under Bajoran law, if
15 likes, thank you guys.
Victim or the target of an attempted murder chooses not to press charges,
okay,
then the Bajoran state won't independently pursue charges, or they choose not to because it's just not worth it.
And I don't think Odo considers killing Quark a crime. So, all right, we explained that away. My 8.5 stands. I was going to lower it, but
Zek donated heavily to Odo's Constable re-election committee.
Yeah, but so let's talk about Croden though. Like, besides his ill-fitting outfit
and his dirty face,
I really like this character.
Yeah.
I thought his performance was fantastic.
The actor did a good job. Yeah.
He's so interesting because he is so good at reading people and reading Odo and seeing like Odo wants to know where he comes from. When he calls it a changeling, Odo like perks up in a way that Croden can obviously read.
Right.
And then change all of his tactics about what he's been doing to try to convince Odo to get him to his daughter.
Right.
So he's like this. I mean, he could be like a criminal mastermind if he chose to, and it sounds like he's done a lot of criminal acts to try to stay alive since he's been like fleeing his government since they killed his wives. And I actually kind of believe him when he says that he doesn't know why the government killed his wives.
Yeah, and what they do here, I think to good effect, is they just take a short scene to show what they've already established as reasonable Federation people, i.e. Cisco, talking to their government. And the government agent is like, I don't know what kind of bullshit laws you have, but if you care about justice, you're going to give it to this guy right now, and we're going to punish him. So
it was just like that.
So for us, the viewing audience, we're like, oh, these guys are assholes. So that helps.
It helps you believe Croden.
Right. They offer a thing that you now, if you think this guy's an asshole, you have sympathy for this person that is against him, kind of thing.
Right. Totally. It's just so well written. It's like everything kind of balances itself and like wraps up so nicely. There's a good episode coming up for next stream. Oh, good. I'm excited. I don't even remember what's next. Oh, no, I actually put it on the AFK screen. Let's see. It's Battle Lines and the Storyteller, although I don't remember what those are.
This is Storyteller when O'Brien has to tell stories so that the space clouds don't kill all the people.
Oh, I don't remember.
Or is that way later?
All I remember is the Rumpelstiltskin episode, which I think is If Wishes Were Horses, which I'm very excited to talk about. Speaking of holodeck sentience, what about childhood demons that later go on to star in Carnival?
I just was watching some old TNG ones, and there's one where it's season 2, and I forget what the rest of the episode is, but Picard is on the holodeck riding around on a horse, and then it just made me think like what that looks like in the real world.
Right.
Is that it's an old man bouncing up and down in midair, you know?
Yeah, I would love to see
just
that.
like in a room with yellow lines.
Just having a gay old time.
Just like on force fields. Hello, Data.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I love when they actually get to the Vortex, when like Odo finally takes Croden to the Vortex, and they just go into the nebula from Wrath of Khan. And it is actually footage from Wrath of Khan that they used to make this Vortex. It is actually footage from that.
It's the first appearance in Deep Space Nine of a classic Star Trek trope, which is magic space gas.
Yes, exactly.
It's just like, woo!
The creepy space cloud that always looks the same.
It fucks up your scanners, it fucks up your teleporters, it fucks up your communications.
Yeah.
If you fire weapons, they're gonna blow up on you, or maybe they won't blow up on you.
Yeah, and if you get to its candy core, you will find V'ger.
Or sometimes an alien intelligence.
Exactly.
And then the galaxy is littered with these things.
Yes. These big blue clouds with a weird sentience inside.
And then the Badlands, that's just like, what is that?
Badlands,
a bunch of it.
Even Nagilum, in a way.
Yeah, Nagilum.
Yeah. Hava Nagilum.
Nagilum is ridiculous, dude.
I love that episode. It's so good.
Yeah.
What is death? It's so good.
Ugh.
Yeah, man. What? So this episode doesn't do it for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's another one where it's like it's a passable, serviceable episode, but yeah, I am making fun of the shapeshifting stuff, but that doesn't hold me back in any way. That's not like why I would not be all that impressed by this particular episode. It's. I didn't think that there was anything that was all that interesting as far as they were exploring of any kind of big ideas or anything like that.
Yeah, not even Odo finding his people.
Well, that's just a hint of something else, though, so it's not like it... I mean, yeah, in some ways it can get points for like, okay, you're setting something up, but you're not really doing that much with it. It's just, oh, Odo can be easily duped by this guy because he wants to know where he comes from and who his people are.
Yeah, I watched it twice. I don't think he's duped by him. I think that he is...
He's desperate, you know... But yeah, he goes with him because Cisco tells him to.
Yeah, he was not going to do that on his own. Odo was not going to be convinced.
No, but he bought into the story enough, you know.
I don't know if he did. I think that he wanted the story to be true, but wouldn't allow himself to believe
enough
it.
for him to go talk to Quark and be like, did this guy ever talk about what planet he's from?
I think that's him wanting it to be true. I don't think that he ever accepted that anything Croden was telling him was true. He's
fair.
Constantly telling him like that you are a liar, you are not telling me the truth, and then recognize. I think that Odo can tell when Croden is lying.
Gotcha.
And I think that
I can take that.
I think in the moment when Croden tells him about his wives is when Odo realizes that he's being told the truth for the first time when they're on the shuttlecraft.
Right.
And then it all kind of Like, he knows that Croton is lying about the changelings having ever been in a colony on this asteroid. He knows that. Like, he doesn't even go looking for the colony. He says, stop lying to me, tell me what's here.
Right.
And that's what he tells him about his daughter. So, yeah, I was actually, like, pretty impressed with Odo in this episode. Like, having this carrot dangled in front of him, this thing that he's been looking for his whole life, and not snatching at it. Except for the
key.
The key, yeah. So this is hard for me to accept
Cousin.
in this episode. Cousin, yeah, he calls this thing cousin. It's hard for me to accept that the piece of jewelry hanging around Croton's neck the whole episode
The shapeshifter key.
is the shapeshifter key. If this had been the item that he was trying to steal in the beginning, it would have worked for me.
Right.
But just him owning it as
It's
the
a-
key to his daughter's like stasis pod
Yeah.
was a little too far for me to kind of believe.
It's a plot convenience MacGuffin.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
This is why, because I think they need to make it that Odo believes him enough to go further along with him than you might otherwise think. And the key is something that makes it like, okay, here's tangible proof so that Odo can at least continue the investigation or
Yeah.
continue to have some doubts. Because
Yes.
I do think it's
Yeah.
weird, all else aside, that Odo does let a murderer go, you know? It's... Yes, I'm having a hard time with this because I feel like they do. This is what I don't like about the episode is that they just get really quickly to the point that Gary should be someone who is trusted and forgiven for murdering people. Like,
Well, he murdered the
security-
Miradorn because he was shot at. You know,
right?
he
right.
could have stunned
but
him.
he walked into the room with a loaded phaser.
Right.
You know, set to kill.
He did that in order to
Yeah,
get passage to find his daughter.
right.
You
So
know?
it's manslaughter. It's negligent manslaughter.
Sure, and yes, that we exist in a universe where there should have been a stun setting on that weapon.
Cheap Ferengi weapons just have
yeah,
one setting.
but I do like the fact that Odo lets him go because like that's not a Starfleet thing to do. That's
Yes.
I take the law into my own hands.
Right.
Like this person doesn't have a life unless I let him go with his daughter, and
Right.
his daughter kept him from killing me. I think like his responsibility to his daughter kept him from killing me, so I
Right.
think I can trust him out in the universe. I think this is the best thing for this person.
What do you think
and
happens
in my
to him?
situation? So he lets him go.
What do you think going forward? Do you think he goes back?
I think he was killed and eaten by the Vulcans as soon as he got on their ship.
Thanks for the resupply, asshole. It's a ship of evil Vulcan.
Anyone that's snarky all the time is eating everyone else. You know. What do you think happened to him?
I just figured he went to Vulcan and then hated it there. Because it seems like he wouldn't.
I have a better question for you. What happened to Grand Nagus's son?
Oh yeah, he disappears.
I think that Grand Nagus killed him on the ride home. He's like, you will never live up to my legacy. You are a waste of son, and I'm going to kill you. We never see him again.
I think that Zek Jr. and the beefy Ferengi hatch a plot to kill the Nagus when they get back. They're like, this was 10 kinds of bullshit. And this guy's like, okay, well, let's try and kill him.
Yeah.
And then the beefy guy sells out his son
Yes.
to expose the plot to curry favor. And we
Yes.
never see him again because he's just chilling it on Ferenginar, making all kinds of latinum because he helped save Zek.
The son helped save Zek.
No.
The other guy.
Yeah.
And the son...
Gets sold out. Like
Right. I'm with you.
Yeah.
And I think that the son spends the rest of his life working at like a Burger King, like the equivalent, like flipping burgers for like no profit. Like Zach just like puts him somewhere where he can't make any profit for the rest of his life.
Let's see, it would be called Golden Grubs.
Golden Grubs.
Is fast food.
How did you do that?
Ferengi fast food.
Oh, Golden Grubs, and it's just pictures of gold pressed latinum and like grubs,
Grubs.
like kind of swimming between them. You know,
And they're anthropomorphic bugs. They're like, I'd eat me.
we have to do this. And actually, it would only work on Ferenginar, so maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah. Storytelling. Oh yeah, that's
Battle Lines is where Julian finally admits he's always knows O'Brien. Oh, nice. And Kai Opaka's coming back next time, right? I love her. I'm so excited to see her again.
Aren't you a little short for a Kai?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that what really draws me to this episode, it doesn't seem to affect you emotionally. I think
well, because I
your
feel that-
lack of human emotions is maybe why you are not enjoying this episode as much as
so
as
skeptical
you should.
of a known dissembler and person capable of murder suddenly has a new story to tell, and you're just like, yeah, okay, that seems reasonable. I get, like, his daughter clearly is not kidnapped, which is good. It's his daughter, but it's also her father. Maybe she doesn't know that this guy is actually an awful person. He can still...
She doesn't know.
He can still
I
be
agree.
a deceptive
I think he
criminal
is.
element.
I think he still is.
From a government that, yes, looks like it's a bunch of assholes, but that doesn't make him automatically not a terrible person. Like,
Right.
There's nothing... It's a lot of shortcuts that are meant for you, the viewing audience, to just be like, oh, I've switched my allegiances and now I'm on this guy's side. But another reading of it could be like, oh, this guy is just manipulating everyone around him
Yes.
as a master manipulator, and you, Odo, and everyone else is buying into it.
But I agree, and I think that is actually my reading also, is that he's the master manipulator. But I think that, okay, unless his daughter is not actually his daughter,
Right.
and is like his criminal cohort,
Accomplice, yeah.
which I grant is a possibility.
Right.
Unless that's true, I think that we have confirmation from his daughter that what he said about his wives being killed was true.
Oh, I agree,
and,
yeah.
and that he loves her and like cares for her, and has been doing all of this for his daughter.
Right.
Which I really think, if you can like draw a conclusion from anyone, like from any one behavior about anyone,
Yep.
them like caring for their family shows that they have compassion.
Right, and that's where I say no. I say
Interesting.
that he can still be a terrible person. We are assuming his story of, like, I guess I just asked the wrong questions.
Right.
Is
but
the
would
truth
you like
of the story.
risk, if like
What if
if you're a shitty person who, like, yeah, you love your kids, but would you like would you risk your life to go save them if they were trapped inside of a vortex?
I think that possibility exists, that you can be someone who was an objectively bad person in his society and still also love your children and want to save them.
Okay, maybe. But let's say, even in that situation, if this person has the best interests of their kid in mind and is not going back to their society and is going to go try to make a life somewhere with their child in this big, vast universe, even if that person might be a master manipulator and a killer, but like with what Odo knows about him, I think there's enough there, even knowing that everything he said to him about the stuff about it, everything he said to him except the stuff about his family was a lie. Like, we know that. He's admitted to that. But I think the stuff about his family is true, and I think the way he cares for his daughter is real.
Yep.
And I think that Odo's decision to let him go is more about the daughter's future than whatever his name is. What is his name? Ted? Than Ted's future. Gary. Ted Ross, space, Croden.
I was going with Sirach again.
Sirach, yeah. I still feel like Odo made a gut decision that I would have made also.
Yeah, I would have sent him back to his planet to get punished, and then sent her on her way. Like, there, I saved your daughter. Like, you still have to get punished for your crimes.
I think saving his daughter without letting his daughter have a father is, like, not necessarily saving his daughter.
Yeah, I mean, it shows that Odo, for all of his things about law and order, it really is dependent on the situation, that it's not like absolute law and order. And of course that is respecting the other societies' laws is not an Odo thing.
Not a priority for Odo.
That's a Federation
It's
thing.
his sense of law and order.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why I like this so much, is because it's just such strong character writing that Odo has such strong senses of what is wrong and right that seem consistent for his character over time. Except for taking Rom to jail, which he definitely would have done, and I just love it. I don't know.
Odo feels sympathy because Odo understands, like, oh, there's sober Rom who's a doofus,
right? And there's
there's sober Rom who's we don't know. There's drunk
We've
Rom.
Never met sober Rom, and no one
mean.
has.
And then there's hopped up on
Golden Grubs,
beetle dust, beetle snuff. That was beetle snuff. The hopped up on beetle snuff Rom, who is the dopey comrade Rom.
Yes. Either way, I don't know. It just works for me, and like Odo's
should get paid more.
Odo's like longing looks when he thinks about his people and like knowing where he came from. I love it, man. I love it. It just works for me, like on a really deep level.
Do I have it? Oh, I don't think I have it. I have a screenshot that I took. Let me see if it came in. No. Oh well, I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
Of Odo just with those longing looks.
Oh, you did? Oh
Yeah.
my god, I love. it's amazing that he can convey such longing through that makeup.
Yeah, Rene Auberjonois is
Auberjonois?
He's a great actor. Oh, we got to see Quark lay down. I guess it would be French.
I took notes for the first time. I wanted to check. It's just one, and it just said. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It just says Odo's usual is nothing. That's all it says.
I took notes for this episode. Oh, it petered out real quick.
That's why I don't take notes. I just try to watch it right before.
Yeah.
For a second time, and then I can remember.
These are my least amount of notes that I've ever done. Normally, I get like pretty chatty with myself, but yeah, this was it. Like, just no.
It turns into a glass, and then is broken, and then calls security.
Yeah.
What's
Dissemble?
What's
Dissemble.
Akel? Akel.
Akel is
the brother's name.
Miradorn.
Yeah, it was like Akel and Bakel or something. Akel and Akor. I don't remember, something like that. Wow. Yeah, I mean, for me, this episode like sums up why I love Star Trek in a way that's very different from Next Generation and feels very Deep Space Nine. I guess this episode sums up why I love Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Like, just this like outlaw justice,
right?
That's doesn't work on Next Generation because you have, you know, like a genius captain who knows these rules inside and out, always knows what's right and wrong, based off of like the Prime Directive.
Top of my class at the academy,
which he talks about. Like the Prime Directive is very accurate. You know, it's an accurate ethos in his mind, so he just upholds it. Whereas Odo is just winging it. You know, Odo's just kind of feeling it and has a good sense of justice. And when his sense of justice is questioned and put into question, the way that the writers kind of explore that just fascinates me, and I just love.
I can see that. I can appreciate that.
I love that, and like examining Odo's sense of justice and examining where he comes from, to me feels just like examining Data and like
his humanity, yeah.
or the Doctor and his humanity, you know?
Yeah.
Not the Doctor of Doctor Who, but like the Doctor from Voyager. Like there's always a character like that on Star Trek, like T'Pol or Spock also.
Right. I don't think they have. I don't see. I see what you're saying. I disagree with you here. I don't think there's a parallel of the exploring humanity character on Deep Space Nine.
Well, yeah, I mean,
they do explore. I do think they do explorations more of culture and religion and society.
For Odo, his character is someone who is othered, like someone who is alone and doesn't know where they come from and is othered. And I think that, like, if you were like an adopted child, I think Odo would speak so much.
But he's not striving to become something else or to try to find his.
He's desperate to find out where he's from, though.
Sure, he's got a mystery. And I think so's Wolverine.
I think being desperate to know where you're from is like a core human function. I think some of us grow up knowing where we're from because we have families that tell us. Yeah. But I think if you don't have that, then it becomes something that is like intrinsic to your understanding of yourself that you feel you're missing.
I think it's more of a like Worf in TNG of like finding how you fit into this particular world.
But Worf knew he's a Klingon from Kronos. Like he knows what he is and where he's from.
Yeah, but
like, Odo has no idea.
Right, but I don't think it's there's not it's not like the Data exploration though, where Data it's like Data wants to be human, and there are people who don't believe that he's human or sentient or has rights, and you know they're exploring.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean,
artificial intelligence.
To me, the emotional depth of Odo's story equals that of Data's, and
if it does, I don't think it's there now.
Sure, this is the first glimpse of it.
This is just
this
mystery.
is like opening that book.
It's a J.J. Abrams mystery box. That's what this is.
Yeah, and they do mention it in the first episode that he doesn't know where he's from and all that. But this is the first time where they develop that, and I love it. But yeah, what do we feel about this like key that is also his cousin and is like a shapeshifter?
I don't know, and that it's alive.
But it's alive. But I think it's like a plant. It's like a shape-shifting plant.
Yeah.
But I don't think they ever bring it back. I don't think they ever like talk about.
Yeah.
How it relates to what we eventually see of the changeling. Spoiler alert. Andy, if you're listening, close your ears. Spoilers. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Oh, wait. Before you go, I'll just wave at you when it's time to come back. Okay, spoilers now. 3, 2, 1, go. So eventually we see, like, the Great Link.
There's more changelings.
Yeah, and we see what the changeling planet looks like. Right. And there's no plants. There's no, like, little keys growing out of the ground all over the place.
There is an island.
So cool. Yeah. Okay, anyway, spoilers done. Come back, Andy. Come back. Come back. See, this is why this is great as a visual medium.
But it does give the implication, like, maybe there's shape-shifting technology, you know, or it's something...
Yeah, I don't know what it implies.
It's weird. It doesn't... But also, to me, it's goofy, but it doesn't matter. It could be...
Yeah.
It's a piece of a changeling that broke off and was separated from its... Some changeling somewhere tried to turn into a giant glass, and it shattered, and one of the pieces fell down a well, and then it put itself back together, and it's like, well, I guess there goes that piece of me. And then that thing just eventually turns into this key shaped.
Andy's back.
Or somebody stole it, or it has nothing to do with changelings.
Yeah, it might not.
Just...
It's actually an elastomorph. It's not a changeling at all. Yeah.
It comes from the progenitors of the changelings.
Which was Salome Jens, the same actress who played the lady coming later. Changeling lady. Because remember in The Chase in TNG? And she almost looks like a changeling in that too.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
So maybe it was the same progenitor race in the Gamma Quadrant also that planted the elastomorphs and the
I feel like they, ran out of stuff at the end, and they're like, why, can we just mix it all together into a big hopper and pour it onto a planet?
Yeah. And that's how you get Ferenginar.
Ba 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 ba.
Ba 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 ba.
Squirrel! That's what I'll do whenever we hit a lull.
Yeah, but it was a real squirrel early. We can see into my backyard. Well, should we rate this one?
Yeah.
Is there more to talk about in this episode?
I think we'll come out with it when we get to the rating,
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get these.
Again, I'm sort of like nonplussed with this one.
I'm shocked by that.
It's not bad, but it's also just like, serviceable.
Wow. I'm just curious to see what chat thinks, because like to me this was like very above average. Like, I mean, I really love this episode. I love the Nagus too, and it was hard for me to decide which one I liked more because they were both so good. Okay, chat, there you go. There is your poll to vote on what you think. So, Doug, what do you rate it?
I'm right now trying to decide if it's where between 6 and 7 it shows up. Does it get to be a 7?
Does it get to be a 7?
Is it a 6?
Is it a 6.5?
Is it a 6.5? Is it a 6.5? Because it's a 6. There we go.
It's a 6.
I just thought to myself, oh, I hate that they glom on the, like, but he's got a daughter and 2 dead wives. So, yeah, that too much of the lazy writing there. And there's other great things I like about it, but they're not enough. They're just window dressing on a turd.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, to me the whole thing, like the daughter and the 2 dead wives, was a commentary on how a lying, thieving cheat can be complex and can have value and can be a person who matters to other people.
Yeah.
I love this whole thing start to finish. Like, besides the glass auto shattering in the beginning, which like breaks my brain a little bit, and
it's
like
so
really,
hard to think about.
It's so hard to think about. Like, it's like, what does this mean? And him just being a glass on that tray at all was really difficult for me to accept. I mean, I was okay kind of with him being a cart with wheels, and a rat, but when he's a see-through glass,
yeah, the cart with wheels was a real stretch.
Yeah, but this like breaks that a little.
Yeah,
and,
literally.
But it doesn't matter to the story.
Yeah.
It's literally just like superfluous, like superficial window dressing on the episode. It doesn't matter.
And also,
I love the guest star.
He gets knocked out, and he just turns into nothing. He just stays humanoid, solid-looking Odo.
Yeah, what does
when
that
he's
mean?
A glass and he's thrown so hard he breaks.
Right.
Fine.
How do you knock out a changeling?
I don't know.
That's another. He
What
doesn't
is
have
it?
a brain to be vibrated.
Right, he's just a lump of goo.
Yeah, his brain is every cell in his body.
Yeah.
I feel like unless you incinerate him, he's fine.
He's not making a skeleton inside of him.
But emotionally, like, this episode, I think, hit me harder than almost anything this season. I just really loved it.
Yeah, I can see it.
I'm giving this episode a 9.
Wow.
I'm giving it a 9.
Wow.
I love this episode.
Even if it hit
really
all
love
the things
it.
that I thought it was trying to do, I still feel like I wouldn't have gone 8 tops.
Wow.
7.5.
You know what? You and I have very different feelings about Star Trek, and that's what makes this wonderful.
Well, Chad gives it a solid 7.5.
Chat's given a 7.5. Does anyone else want to vote? Has everyone voted that wants to vote? Let us know in chat, otherwise we're sticking with 7.5.
Yeah, I'll do math later and adjust if need be.
Yeah. Okay. Now, favorite character. Who do we want to nominate for favorite character in this episode?
Favorite character, Odo, Gary,
Croden.
Croden, Odo,
Man.
Akel.
Yeah, the Miradorn.
Yeah.
Morn. Oops, I made a...
Morn.
Fuck, I made the poll accidentally.
Yeah, I like that. I don't like that you can't edit these. But
Oh, you can push back. That worked.
Oh.
Morn is finally named, and you actually see him laugh.
Yeah,
You see
yeah.
inside his mouth.
I wish Morn
It's the
would
only
shut
time.
his big mouth.
Apparently, it's the only time he opens his mouth the whole show.
interesting.
And you see Odo smile, which is terrifying. It is absolutely horrifying. Favorite character? Anyone else that people want to nominate?
Dude, there wasn't that many.
Ted. Ted's Facer.
Who else? Yeah, Rom's really small in this one.
Yeah.
Cisco doesn't do much. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, nobody does anything. I mean, I would nominate other people if they wanted, but I don't see.
Well, let's go with these 4.
Okay.
Okay, favorite character. What do you think?
I don't have a favorite character in this one. It's to be, and that's like that was. I guess that's part of why I was so blah on the episode.
Do you want to go with the key? It's alive.
Cousin Odo.
Cousin.
Who? No. Someone in chat nominated the Ferengi phaser.
Yeah.
I'm gonna vote for the phaser.
Well, then I gotta put that on the poll.
No, you don't.
Okay, great. The Ferengi phaser. Yeah, for me it's either Ted or Odo for favorite character. That's a little tough, actually. I really like Croden a lot. I think he's like complex in a way that's really interesting to me.
Yeah. Okay. He was my second choice. Honestly, I know I went with a joke answer, but he was as close as I came to having. But then there's like a favorite character.
Well, favorite implies of this episode. Who did you like the most?
I get it, and I just didn't.
Yeah.
It was just like compared to everyone else, it just was a. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like your favorite.
No, I get it. I was just kind of so nonplussed with the episode.
Yeah, I think Ferengi Phaser is a statement about how nonplussed you were,
Yeah.
and is a fair answer. I have to go with Odo for my favorite character.
Okay.
I just like learning more about him and like where he stands on things just fascinates me.
That's fair.
All right, looking at the results. Wow, Odo got 100% of the votes.
Right.
Including
See,
mine.
Even if Ferengi Phaser was on there, Odo was going to win.
Yeah.
Oh!
Wow. Okay, and then
Oh,
who do we want to nominate for best performance? We got to put Odo on there.
Yeah, same people.
Odo,
Croden.
I think
Quark.
Miradorn, the
Yep.
Miradorn. It was both
Akel.
Miradorn are played by the same actor, which is kind of cool.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty good special effects. Cisco,
Yeah.
best performance. Jake's not in this episode, so should we add him?
Yeah, I mean, does chat want anyone else in there?
Let's see.
The daughter's in there for a hot minute.
No one else from chat. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, great. Create and poll.
Yeah. This is an easy one for me.
Best performance?
Yeah, it's the Akel, it's the Miradorn.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we should look. He comes back as other characters, so we should pop his name in there. That's something I want to do with this list because I know that there are like recurring guest stars.
Yeah, so see if they get voted again.
Even if they play someone else,
Yeah, so
like Jeffrey Combs, you know.
yeah, well, he's the classic.
Yeah, I think Jeffrey Combs might win best performance for the whole show.
Yeah,
Okay.
he posted something that was like, you know whose agent's really excited right now?
Yeah, Jeffrey fucking
There's,
Combs.
there's one Star Trek series happening and 2 more in the pipeline.
Randy Oglesby. He has a recurring role on Enterprise too.
Yeah.
Randy Oglesby as Akel and
Rokel.
Rochelle.
But
Rochelle and Michael.
I get that it's a fairly one-dimensional character,
But he's great at
but
it.
he does it so well, and there is the passion feels real, the anger and the vengeance, and it's just like he is just turned into a pure being of righteous anger, and the way that he says, like, you killed the best thing about me or about my life. Like, he says it with such, there's a weight there. Like, to me, that's far more emotional than the tacked on familial story with Gary. Like, the death of that dude's twinned, bonded brother, whatever it is, that felt really strong.
Yeah,
and it drives a lot of it of the behind the scenes. It drives a lot of the other action that happens.
Yeah, I hear you. I think he did really, really awesome. I'm torn between Odo and Ted. I'm not giving it to Ted for one reason. It's because
dirt-faced loser.
When he's reunited with his daughter, he doesn't break the way that I want him to. I want his...
Perhaps because he's dissembling.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I needed a little more right there to really get what I wanted out of this episode. So I read into it that it is there. But to me, that felt like it was pulled back in a way that shouldn't have been, and maybe that was a directorial choice. I don't know.
Right.
But because of that, I'm going to give it to good old Rene Auberjonois for best performance, because because the way that he tells you through all of this makeup how badly he wants to know where he's from is so fucking fantastic, and will remain that way for the rest of the series.
One of the best.
We got a tie between Croden and the Miradorn.
Oh. So
we need someone can break the tie, or we make up a name that combines them both, as is our custom. Crotodorn.
Crodorn, yeah.
Crodorn. Miradorn. Let's see. Akel. Rokel. Crodenkel.
Crokel.
Crokel. Ted Crokel, Miradorn. Ted Crokel, the Miradorn. Yes. Can you vote twice? Unfortunately, well, is Andy there? Andy can vote. Amanda's Andy, not my Andy. We both own an Andy, apparently. we don't own them. We
rent them.
We rent them? No. We have special Andy privileges. Croquet. He's not. Then no, you do not get an extra vote, lady.
Oops.
I don't know what you're saying.
Election thief.
All right. I think we gotta. What did we come up with? Croquel.
I liked croquet, but it doesn't.
Croquet.
It's not. I like it, but it doesn't quite fit. Yeah, we went with croquel.
Crow-Kel.
Kel, yeah.
Croquel.
And you have to remember that later.
And then in parentheses, Ted.
Ted.
Wait, the other guy's name is Randy. Trandy. Trandy. I think that's pretty clear.
It's never going to make sense to you later.
I think that makes sense to me later. Okay. So the real question is, how many space mushrooms does this episode get?
10.
10 out of 10?
Just straight up 10. Yeah, this is some of the weirdest stuff to me. Shape-shifting, breaking glass. Wait, no, you know what? I'm going to go with mushroom time factor 9.99. We haven't quite crossed the threshold.
The threshold?
But we're real close.
That is the moment.
That's the 10.
Yeah. That's like the worst.
That's the 10.
Yeah.
Because the mycelial network doesn't even come close.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so the weird thing is that the rest of this episode ties up so nicely and makes more sense than most episodes.
Yeah.
As far as like your headcanon, which I think is in the episode about like why Quark was working with Croquet.
Right.
Was so good. And yeah. But like Odo being a glass that shatters on the wall that has a comm badge inside of it somehow is like...
That wastes nothing.
It's like a bridge too far. It's like if you were... I don't know. It just breaks. It's crazy.
It's mind-boggling how
Marco.
bad it is.
In Vita Dead? What's that? Is that Spanish for Doug? Is that a typo? You never know.
The person you invited? And you invited?
Oh.
I don't know, I'm just guessing.
He just showed up here.
Yeah.
What is this about an Andy hologram? I don't know. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, up here, somebody.
Oh, that comment.
Somebody wants to hand out Andes.
That comment that is slightly creepy. I kind of ignored that. Yeah. So I guess it has to get a 10. Well, like Doug said, 9.9. It's under the threshold, which is the episode threshold. It's just under that, but. Yeah. It's so frustrating because it's just that moment that breaks all reality and my brain in the process.
Yeah.
It's just that moment, but in such a strong episode that I still am giving a 9.
Oh, that was the other... Did I write it down? There's he shapeshifts in the last episode, too, the Nagus ooze under door, where it's like, these are airlocks. They're clearly airlocks. So what is he oozing under? When he gets onto the Nagus' ship, there's 2 doors because it's an airlock. That's the whole point.
Right.
If it wasn't an airlock, then it would be out into space. But he oozes under the door and gets into the ship.
Right. Yeah, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
I mean, if Odo can fit through an airlock, then everyone's dead.
Then air can fit through the airlock.
Yeah, then air can fit through the airlock, and that.
Or what can Odo fit through that air can't?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I wish they'd button that up a little bit.
It's space magic. Odo is space magic.
It is space magic.
This episode has clearly put Odo into a limited form of space magic, but he is definitely now space magic.
Yeah, definitely.
I like space magic, though.
I do too. I enjoy it. I like Star Wars a lot, and that's all space magic. Well, we did it, you guys. We made it through another Doug Space 9. Doug Space 9.
Credits are rolling.
Doug Space 9.
It's
Doug
It's
Space
a bunch
9.
of jobs. That's Jesse Mercury.
Doug Space
Jesse
9.
Jesse Mercury.
Doug Space 9. These are
Editing.
credits rolling.
Special effects.
Doug Space 9.
Venue.
Doug Space 9.
Dog wrangling. Jesse Mercury.
And then it just says hosts Jesse Mercury.
Co-host.
Mercury.
That was good.
It's just my name twice.
Even better.
I have very exciting news, guys. Doug doesn't even know this, but I went on eBay and I ordered the cartridge of the Deep Space Nine Super Nintendo game. So we're gonna get back to playing that because we tried it with the ROM, but it crashed the cartridge.
And it's
not here yet, though.
I'm curious about does it come with a manual?
I don't think so.
Because that game was crazy, where you're just like pixel hunting,
right?
Just slamming your character against everything that looks like a door.
I used to own the cartridge back in the day and could not figure out how to play it, and got so mad that I don't have it anymore.
What if you order it and it's the exact same thing? It's like, oh, that game just crashes.
Maybe
like that's just the way it is.
Maybe that's what it was. I got so mad at it I stopped playing, but I feel like I didn't get that far. I feel like I didn't realize you could go out the doors and into the other sections. I was just like, I am stuck in this room for all eternity. This isn't a fun game.
Yeah, that'll be fun to play.
I am so excited about it because I loved it that time we played it and before it crashed. So that's very exciting. So yeah, guys, tomorrow come back for no Doug, just me. Nothing personal.
No. This is as much as another person can tolerate me.
You know, I don't think that's true.
It's very true.
You are wonderful.
Just infrequently.
I was just watching
Small doses.
I was just hanging out with someone and we watched some Tiny Baby Talk Show, and it was 2 very heavy You episodes. It was just so funny because like we knew each other for years, but
right.
but just like kind of superficially.
Yeah, we worked on a thing together.
Yeah, we're almost like coworkers, even though we didn't get paid.
It's like we did a show.
But so nothing has changed. It's basically the exact same. But yeah, anyway. So tomorrow we're doing some Mario Maker starting between 5 and 6 p.m.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. And then I have a new video coming out that I'm really excited about. I have a Real World video coming out, and I have a video about Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, because it was on sale for 60% off, so I bought it, and I recorded my first impressions, and it's really super funny, and I'm excited to put it out. And then we'll be back in 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks, yeah.
Have we checked that yet?
We have not.
I'm going to be gone.
Thrill as we coordinate our calendars.
Yeah.
That would be the 14th.
I'm going to be gone on the 14th. So should we do next week? Can you do next week? Or should we do it in 3 weeks?
Well, next week... Yeah, either next week, 3 weeks,
Could we do next week and then go back to every other week after that, like we did last time I had to leave town?
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about that? You want to do this again next week?
Resounding no from chat. People are just jumping ship.
I accidentally wrote Doug Spakake, and I'm just going to leave it.
Oof.
Doug Spikake.
Oh, we'll show them the memes real quick.
Oh, the memes! Yes, I knew I was forgetting something. I even loaded them up.
Or they can just go.
Go to other dimension, discover new planets, and other constellation JJJ. I don't know what that means either.
That's it's LOL in Spanish.
Oh, is that LOL in Spanish? Oh, I love that.
Or sometimes it's like ja 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 J A J A J.
Oh, cool.
I think maybe I'm wrong.
Planets, another constellation.
That's why I thought the invite
Nice.
to Dad was like Spanish as well, but I didn't know what it would be.
I think.
So I'm just
yeah.
guessing. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm not trying to be weird or anything.
I think you're right. Okay, guys. So 2 weeks we're doing the next 2 episodes, which were Battle Lines and the Storyteller. You can see it's like wait, point this way. No, this way. No.
You can see how hard it is.
It's so hard. This way.
This is why it freaks me out when I see
like,
like when there's my hair I want to move and I can't feel it, and I'm just trying to do it through the camera.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's enough to break your brain.
Speaking of breaking your brain, let's look at some memes.
Okay, and we don't have to show them. We can
we
just
have to show
tell
them. Roses are red, deep 9 in space. Tonight, you'll polish every rail in the place. Oh, it's Rom talking.
Talking to
Roses are red, deep 9 in space. Tonight, you'll polish every rail in the place.
That's a really,
I can do Rom!
that's a good role.
That was my first attempt. If I worked on that, it would be brilliant.
Yeah, that's a good role.
Thank you. This was my favorite. This one was my favorite by far
Okay.
of this batch.
So that's actually, this is from Vortex, and the first one was from Nagus. So that's the one per.
And then what was this one from?
This was also from Nagus.
This one is
and
terrifying.
I couldn't decide which one I liked. This is using like a pretty common format.
Yeah.
That damn smile.
Mm-hmm. It is terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's very upsetting.
That's kind of what I was going for.
You've done it again, sir. Yeah, I keep forgetting to put the Instagram link, but look up Doug Space 9 on Instagram. Doug posts all these there. Mm-hmm. And hopefully a picture of these guys.
Yes.
Which he's posed. Wait. He does not look comfortable. I am Benjamin Sisko. I can fly through the air and do karate.
Doug Space 9.
Doug Space 9. Doug Space 9.
Benjamin, how
Doug
about a
Space 9.
spot of Mario
Doug Space 9. Doug Space 9. Goodbye. Doug Space 9. That was Doug Space 9. Doug Space 9. Bye.